You can take me to the stars. You can touch the stars tonight. You can take me to the stars. You can touch the stars tonight. You can take me to the stars. You can touch the stars tonight. You can take me to the stars. You can touch the stars tonight.
Bill Nye, the science guy, once said that I am one giant fuckhead. Me and Neil deGrasse, straight shield for cash, and we are the evil that people want dead. You're just a product of the environment, but everything is fake. This entire shit, I don't know what to say, but I'm not buying it. I've been here every day and I've been trying it. Everything that we're taught is a scam, and all along it was part of the plan. Telling us they're gonna go to Mars with a man? That's why I call them out as hard as I can. We ain't been to the moon and we ain't going soon, and everybody at NASA is a soulless goon. Man, this is fact, this is so damn true. Everybody watch out, Orion's floating through. Man's face is fake, but you gotta admit the slide takes the cake. These people need to chill out and take a break, but I'll never sleep again, I gotta stay awake. They lie and we don't need that. It's one big hoax and I'm starting to see that. Space was a place that I wanted to be at. I used to believe that.
You can take me to the stars. You can touch the stars tonight. You can take me to the stars. You can touch the stars tonight. You can take me to the stars. You can touch the stars tonight. You can take me to the stars. You can touch the stars tonight.
Growing up, I didn't have a clue. I used to think the earth was a ball just like you. Who knew? Everything that we learned in school is nothing but bullshit. None of it's true. Ha! And these people call it education. Just a clever way to say indoctrination. You don't seem to understand the plot we're facing. It's all about common sense and observation. But not for the mainstream, it isn't the case. They say you're spinning on a rock in the middle of space, but now's not the time, nor is it the place. I'm really sick of getting lied to, so get out my face. If you feel the way I feel, then come with me, get up. Flat earthers all across the plane, ripping it up. Truth seekers all up in this bitch, getting it crump. And if you think we plan on stopping, then you're shit out of luck. That's why ODD is always on the grind, and I'm never ever scared to speak what's on my mind, because this day and age everybody is afraid. It's an illness, realness is hard to find. They lie all the time and we don't need that. It's one big hoax and I'm starting to see that. Space was a place that I wanted to be at. I used to believe that.
You can take me to the stars. You can touch the stars tonight. You can take me to the stars. You can touch the stars tonight. You can take me to the stars. You can touch the stars tonight. You can take me to the stars. You can touch the stars tonight.
All right, what is going on YouTube? It's SteveJMO. It is the 25th of September in the year 2020. And it's just crazy, man. It's just crazy where we are and how we're put here now. You know, any of us could have been born in the, 1,000 years ago, 2,000, 5,000, whatever, 100 years ago. But no, we were all put here now for a specific reason, for a specific goal, by a specific being, the Almighty. And that's something that people gotta really understand. Because things seem rather gloomy lately. Things seem very dark. We are in the tunnel for sure. We're deep in the tunnel. We entered the tunnel probably when the what is it called? The Gothard Tunnel was finished, when they did that giant ritual. That was what, 4 years ago? And here we are now. here we are now. They externalized their whole plan, and yet no one batted an eye. And I see Bobby Stevens in the chats on his way home. He's going to join us at some point, so that's awesome. That's awesome. And let me say hi to the chat real quick. We do have some questions already. Yeah. Oh, I don't have the link for that anymore, brother, but that was ODD, Take Me to the Stars. Should pop right up. Great song, great words. You know, ODD has some, we'll put it bluntly, some kick-ass music. Good truth music. Him, you got Destiny Lab. I think they're releasing an album in a couple days, so definitely check that out. Good people there. Very good at making videos, ODD is. And just wish he'd put some more out, man, because the time that we're in now is a time where everyone needs to step it up, whether it's doing a live stream, whether it's spreading awareness in your community, just telling something to someone who's blind, not legally blind, but mentally blind, trying to open the eyes of people who need it now. Because I made the mistake a couple months ago. I made the mistake of saying plenty of times that if you haven't gotten it by now, you're just not going to get it, or we're giving up on you, whatever. That was a big mistake, because now is probably the most prime time to snap people out of it. Some people are snapping out of it. I would maybe not on their own, but I'm getting messages from people I thought I'd never get messages from, or people will say things in passing, or we'll be talking about this or that. And it's just nuts, dude. It's just really, really nuts. But who's in the chat? We got Pirate Oxide. What's up, brother? Craig Steber, The Real Truth. Rick Swain. What's up? Time Traveler Montgomery. What's going on? You're the brother who's looking for ODD TV reality. I don't know what it is. Just look up Take Me to the Stars. Good stuff. J Hood, what's going on, brother? NH guy, what's up? Good people in the chat. Ian Forg, what's going on? I don't know if I said that right. 4G, it's all good. Better not be 5G. I'm just kidding. All right. But yeah, like I was saying before, we were all put here now. We weren't put here to get raptured away or whatever, I don't want to say that. I've said it a couple times already, that we're in the last chapter of the Bible, the coronavirus thing, white horse, we broke that down at nauseum. And I'm not taking that back, but what we are in indefinitely, I'll say, if the first seal hasn't been cracked, then we are in the beginning of sorrows. That's exactly where I believe we are. We are definitely in the beginning of sorrows. We're going through the birth pains of the New World Order, as some could call it. It's just where we are. Whether they cracked the first seal or whether the first seal was popped off upstairs, I'm not going to put the definite on that anymore. But I'm still leaning 80-20. 80-20. Anything can happen, but still. And it's just crazy how we're in 2020 and people still just don't get it, man. People think that, even Christians, this is mostly Christians I'm talking about right now, they still don't get it. You read the Bible, the Bible, you this, that, whatever, and you still think that right before everything goes south, 100% south, we're going to get raptured up, and we're going to miss our trials and tribulations? I don't think so. I don't think so, brother. Jesus, whatever you want to call him, God's son, came down in a mortal form and died on the cross for us. For us, but regardless, he died on the cross. And if the Almighty upstairs didn't pull his own son out of getting brutally murdered on the cross with a crown of thorns, getting whipped, nailed, and then stabbed in the side, you know what I'm saying? If they didn't, Jesus of Nazareth, thank you, J Hood. And if he didn't pull him out of that situation, do you really think he's going to pull us out of that situation? I don't know, man. I don't know. It is what it is, but you just got to, my motto is always prepare for the, what is it? Prepare for the best, expect the worst. Or expect the best, prepare for the worst. Yeah. Expect the best, you know? That'd be great. I'd love to be wrong in that situation, but you got to prepare for the worst, whether, well, you know, a lot of people, you know, they struggle with being prepared, you know, on a mental and a spiritual level. You know, anyone could be physically prepared. Just go to the store and buy, you know, $100 of corn, you know, in the can or whatever, you know, that's whatever. It's just, hold on, what's going on? TrueTube. I saw that, brother. I saw that. Good looks. I was actually on that site the other day. Not the Bill Gates one, but TrueTube. I was on that. Good looks. Yeah. It's just crazy. They're pulling us down, dude. Like when it's just crazy. I got 41 watching now. It's just nuts. Like if I did a live stream literally a month ago, we'd have like 80, 90 here by now. It's just nuts, dude. It's just nuts. Shadow banning is the realest thing out there, you know, because people claim I'm censored this, I'm censored that. Come try sharing truth on on a platform with my name on it. See how that works out for you. It's ridiculous. And I do have a copyright strike. I forgot to mention that the other day. They hit me with a copyright strike finally. Because I was getting warnings left and right from Netflix, you know, the Obama owned industry, or whatever it is. Been getting warnings left and right about Altered Carbon. Because I've been sharing the trailer, and the trailer is very telling, you know. You don't need to watch the show. You know what I'm saying? If you just watch the trailer, that's it. You know, and they gave me a strike the other day, and it's lame. Let's put it that way. But well, it's the 25th now. I don't know. That was the 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Hey, I'm actually over the limit now, so we could actually share that again. Because what are they gonna give me another strike? Do it. You know, I haven't told anyone about the backup channel, but there is a backup. There's a backup. We got DLive, BitChute. They want to take us off YouTube. In a way, it would be a good thing because it would show their true colors, and we would know we were right. But at the same time, how are we going to network? How are we going to, you know, spread information with each other? It's not like I have CJ's, TrueTubes, and Time Traveler Montgomery's phone numbers or emails. You know, like this is one of the only ways that a lot of us do. I guess you would call them virtual hangouts, meetups, whatever. You know, live streams, and it just, you know, it sucks that it's all going to come down sooner or later. But once they pull the plug, you know, that's going to be the day that you'll know. Yeah, 3 strikes and you're out like baseball. Yeah. But the day they pull the plug, dude, that's going to be the day that people are going to come asking you questions. People are going to, oh, maybe I should have listened to SteveJMO or Bobby or Brian or Rich, whatever, you know? Like maybe they, you know, it's kind of lining up with that and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, that's the one day that none of us are going to want to be right. And if it's a day like I've imagined in my head, you know, we might not even have the strength or the ability to even what's it called? To even hold on, dude. We might be holding on to our bridges for dear life. You know, who knows what's going to happen that day? But just know that, you know, there's a lot more than meets the eye with this reality. To put it really simple, because you know, we're human beings. We have flesh, we have bones, we have blood, water, whatever. And a lot of people just stop there. They try to build that up. Ooh, I gotta have the six pack. I gotta have juiced arms, or I got whatever. You know, I got girls with their makeup and the hair, lipstick, whatever. You know, I gotta have the $200, $300 heels, and it's just nuts, dude. It's just nuts. People have to understand that none of that means nothing. Or I'm sorry, all of that means nothing. 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 Not a damn thing. Not even the slightest bit of anything. It's what's upstairs. And what's in the middle of your chest. Your heart. Your mind. And together you'll produce works and fruit. And we'll be judged upon that, you know? And it's just nuts that, you know, people, even me, dude, I'm 25 years old. I'm not some holy, righteous man who lives sin-free and spreads the good word. You know, I do my best to do that, but I've lived a bad life for a long time. For a long time, from pretty much 13 to 20, 21-ish. That's when it was on, dude. It was on. You name it, we're doing it, you know? And looking back on it, it just sucks, dude. It just sucks knowing how just, like, stupid you are. It's crazy, but I just hope what we're doing now collectively, because I know there's a lot of people in that boat, you know, if you say you're not, whatever, but, you know, I'm in that boat. Everyone's a lot of whatever, you know. I hope what we're doing now can just take some weight off of that side, you know, because I know it's not, the balance scale ain't going to be level, but if we could just chip a little bit off that, the side of sin and darkness that we've all have lived in for oh so long, like maybe that'll be enough. Or, you know, because every day I try to do positive things for anyone, you know, like even at work, there's a couple people that, you know, they were in my house, I'd kick them out rather quick. Let's put it that way. But still, you know, we have one common goal, one common theme. It's not like we all get along, but you got to help them out. You got to give them a hand. It's not, you know, I work in a kitchen, you know, I don't have my own kitchen anymore, which sucks. So I'm not running it, you know, I'm not in charge of everything, but now I got to make sure that the dude next to me isn't, you know, 5, 6, 7 tickets behind, or isn't running out of stuff, this, that, and the other thing. And, you know, it gets a little frustrating, and it would be great if, you know, he was a decent person, but he's not. He's not. Let's put it simply. He's not a decent person. And it's just hard. But at the same time, you know, what am I going to do? Let him drown? Let them have 30, 40, 50-minute tickets for breakfast? No, Jesus, no. God, no. You know, it's crazy. Can't let anyone do that. I've been in that situation. It sucks. I wouldn't want anyone else to be in that situation. And that's just, you know, one little example of just helping someone out that you're not really cool with, perhaps, you know? It's crazy. It's crazy where we are. But yeah, we got 51 live now. That's not bad. That's not bad for the Shadow Band Network. Very great. I'm just going through the chat right now. I don't think I'm just being quiet and weird. Yeah. Yeah, TrueTube. Yep. Nice. I got you, brother. I got you. Someone's got to do it. You know, I'm not really, I'm not tech savvy, you know, like granted, I know how to share a screen pretty well, but that's about where it stops. I can't even use my iPhone half the time. It's allegedly smarter than me, but you know, when it's saying you're typing in the wrong code, there's only one fucking code I use. Sorry, but you know, it's you're gonna tell me I'm wrong? Like, ridiculous. And the brilliant thing about iPhones is that you gotta update them. And I know we talked about this a little bit the other day with Bobby and Jen, but yeah, my phone was trying to update again last night or 2 nights ago. 13.7, strictly all COVID. Excuse me. Either comes with 1 or 2 apps that are undeletable, irreversible, perhaps, like the old Profusa hydrogel. That we're gonna get into that in a second, actually, too, because I had a brilliant independent fact checker check something on my wall that said it was false. But in reality, like even in the shitty reality where everything's backwards, it's still true. So we'll get into that in a minute. We got Bobby Stevens here. What's up, brother? What's up?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Chilling like a villain.
Little just got home. What up?
Just hanging, bro. Just hanging. How was work today, bud?
Tiring. Work sucks. What are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? In some ways, I can break away and be free. In other ways, I'm still a slave.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I feel that 100%, dude. It's just nuts, dude. Because like I was just talking about before the train went off the tracks for a minute. I was talking about how there's more that meets the eye in this reality. You know, like there's human beings in the physical. You know, what we're doing here now, but then there's that whole mental and spiritual aspect that not no one, but I'd say a good, I'll be lenient, a good 75% of people don't even know about. And if they do know about it, they don't know how to, you know, turn it on, perhaps.
Right.
And it's just nuts how it's like we live a double life almost, you know, like I go to work. It's like I plug into the matrix for 8 hours and then I unplug. But like not in a way where I'm like, oh, I go to work, I put a mask on, 9/11 happened, you know, like, no, it's not like that. But it's like, I got to dumb down these conversations, you know, I got to like just check the score of the football game last night to make sure I can make conversation with these Nimrods. You know what I'm saying? It sucks.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, I'm the same way where I don't bend to your reality. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm okay with like just going through my working. I put my head down, just work. I just want to get home. But if you come to me while I'm working and you say some off-wall crack ass shit,
oh, you're going down.
I'm checking you right there now. I don't care. Like I had a lady the other day. I was outside working. She comes outside. She's like, "Aren't you going to wear your mask?" I was like, "No." Second of all, 1, no. 2, I'm outside. And I was like, not to be rude, but I was outside by myself, and then you came outside. So if you were worried about the virus, why would you come outside to then greet me without a mask on for yourself? If you believe in the virus, you just put yourself in quote danger. What? So that's another thing. And she's like, "Oh, aren't you afraid of it?" I'm like, "What? This thing that the CDC said has only killed 9,600 people."
Ooh.
Oh, you can't trust the CDC. I'm like, oh, you can't trust the CDC. Okay.
Really?
Okay. Well, the president. Oh, the president. Okay. Well, and then I went down all these lists, and then when I finally got to CNN, she was like, "Oh, what did they say?"
Like, oh, they said that 2 million people died last night. So
Right. Real quick, Bex. No, I'm not eating a hoagie.
I saw that. I almost highlighted that.
A slice of pizza. I just got home. I last ate at 6 a.m. this morning. I am starving. But yeah, no. So it's just like these. Like I said, I think the other day when I was on the show was, they're now gearing it up to where they only want you to hear or believe in, you know, CNN or the liberal media. Like you no longer trust the White House. They're saying out loud. You can no longer trust the CDC, and the CDC is supposed to be, you know, quote, real scientific people. You know, and now they're discredited amongst the other quote news anchors on CNN. Tell me, in a real world, if science and all this was real, Tell me how in a functioning world, how a news anchor on CNN would hold more weight in society than and then they quote scientists at a CDC. It wouldn't. The news anchor be laughed off the streets.
Yeah, they
But
would
in
be.
this reality, they're gods.
It's because they're in that new category, experts. Experts say, don't believe the doctor. We got experts. Bill Gates, not a doctor, the expert. You know what I'm saying? And the funny thing is, like you're saying, these people are, I'm not believing the CDC because they're, because Donald Trump quotes them and whatever. It's like, well, good for you for not believing the CDC, but here's why you shouldn't believe the CDC. The CDC.gov, by the way, is a privately owned company, not involved with any government in any way, shape, or form. But I digress on that. But that's what people should really be not watching and listening to CDC for, not because Donald Trump is laying down this, that, and the other thing. Like, do some independent-ish research. I'm not asking you to spend 5-6 hours on a laptop like I do, but just 20 minutes on your iPhone. I know it'll give you different answers, but they'll be somewhat better. Because I don't know if you've noticed that, but I'll research something on my phone and then I'll go to look it up on my computer, and it's slightly different to say the least. You ever notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It's so strange, dude. I have like 4 or 5 links on my phone that just don't exist on on my laptop for some reason. Like if I really wanted to get them, I'd have to like send them to you and then open them up. But if I type it in verbatim, this website does not exist. It's beautiful. I'm like, yo, it's like the NWO website, bro. Actually, you know what? Let's treat the viewers. Let's see what'll happen. We're doing this live. I haven't done this in like a month.
Well, they're now so they came out with they casted Tinkerbell because they're making a Peter and Wendy, Peter Pan and Wendy movie. They made Tinkerbell black. They hired a black actress.
What?
Just wait, because it in real life doesn't. I don't care who you are. You're just a person to me. You're not better than me. I don't care. Sure, play. You want to say you want to play? You're playing pretend. Woo! I'm somebody else. I'm playing pretend. But people get there's gonna be so much hate on this young actress for playing Tinkerbell because her skin tone's a little bit darker than the original cartoon. That it's gonna drum up so much racism and hate for each other. It's not even gonna be funny.
It's nuts, dude.
It's so stupid.
It's nuts. It's like the media is trying to lead themselves to the slaughter, but not from their own people, just from regular. They're know what they're banking on? They're banking on people not having common sense anymore. They're like, oh, if that's the new whatever, then yeah, Tinkerbell's black. She's just playing a role. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But what did I want to show you? Let's show you. Yeah. There was nothing there. Nothing to see. Just a white page. It brings you to a website, but there's nothing there. It sucks. Like that was good to go like 2 months ago, and then they slowly started taking it away. That was the funny thing, and now it's gone. Yeah. There you go, Timmy. There you go, or Timmy. I'm sorry, Time Traveler Montgomery.
Who the hell's Timmy?
I don't know. Timmy in the well, maybe. He doesn't exist anymore either. That's
Timmy
okay.
Turner.
Timmy freaking Turner, dude. That's an interesting little cartoon from back in the day. They're Fairly Odd Parents.
How about the Kobe Bryant kids books?
That was interesting, dude.
There's two. So I still listen to certain podcasts. One of the podcasts I still listen to is Chris Jericho's podcast because I like listening to them reminisce about wrestling 20, 30 years ago.
Of course.
I mean, even Brian Staley says he listens to the same stuff like Jim Cornette and listen. I just love it. It's just so funny, the stories they tell. But so Chris also likes to dabble in like the paranormal and stuff like that. So he had a guy on, well, it came out today, and the guy was talking about the Illuminati and like how all of it kind of ties in. And he was talking about Kobe Bryant and how it could possibly be a planned death and they said he has kid book. Now, the one kid's book I already told you about, where the character's name's Rain. Now, I don't know if that's Rain as in like rainfall or Rain like a king, reigns over his people. But he said that this book is about himself, and in this book, him and a couple other kids meet a professor, and this professor makes the kids sign contracts, and in the contracts they have to do certain tasks. They're not called rituals in the book, they're called tasks. One of them is like face your fear, you got to face death, and a couple other tasks, and after the task is completed, you'll be able to be a superstar in basketball, things like that, which is obviously selling your soul to the devil. Now there's a second book about a little girl, I forget the name of her on the book, who cares. She meets a fallen angel.
Wow.
Not kidding. A fallen
Wow.
angel, and she signs a contract with him.
Oh.
And then she has to go through certain things. And then at the end of the book, this is legitimately how it ends. At the end of the book, she sees her uncle praying to the fallen angel. And she says, oh, and then she starts to have regret. Oh no, I messed up. I did the wrong thing. And she's like, Uncle, what are you doing? And the uncle turns to her and says, oh dear, evil isn't so bad. And that's literally how the book ends.
What?
Yeah.
That's messed up, dude.
That's Kobe Bryant's kids' books, by the way.
Nice. No. When you say that, you mean that's like a book that he made for kids, or that's
Yes.
one of his kids' books?
No, he made it for kids.
Okay. Because I was thinking like maybe that would be even more effed up if little Gianna was just sitting down and, you know what, Daddy, I got a good 20-page kids book for you. That's still nuts, though. That's still nuts. When was this written? Do you know? Obviously before his passing or his departure. Let's put it that way to wherever they go.
Yeah. I'm looking at him here. There's this. I'm gonna have to get this. There's a series. It was written by Wesley King and Kobe Bryant. It came out. No.
Give me a break.
No. There's a couple. There's a lot of books.
No way.
Okay, so there's one called Epocha, the Tree of Ekrof.
What? The tree of what?
Ekrof. ECROF.
Please hold. ECROF. Let's see what that is. ECROF.
Let's see this one. What's this one about?
Wow. 88, guy. 88. You like that? I know I'm not screen sharing. ECROF. 88. Numerology. Wow.
From the mind of the basketball legend, Academy Award-winning New York Times bestselling storyteller Kobe Bryant comes a new tale of finding your strength against all odds. And then he has other books coming out that haven't been released yet. The one book released March 31st of this year. The second one came out February 20th, and the last one comes out December 15th of this year. And they're called Epocha, the River of Sand, the Wizardnard series, season 1, collector's edition. Like he's writing stories about wizards.
That's nuts, dude. That's so sketchy.
Okay, so it says Reggie has never felt destined for greatness. He dreams about basketball brilliance all day and night, but the hard truth is that he's a bench warmer for the West Bottom Badgers, the worst team in the league. Even their mysterious new coach, Abai Wizardnard, can't seem to help them end their losing streak. And I guess that's where you go into the my soul. But yeah, these are his books that he made.
That's nuts. I just got a little sidetracked because I think we have a bot in the chat. People are saying their comments are getting deleted, and I'm not even on on YouTube right now to moderate. So nice.
I'm on Amazon.
Nice. You're on Amazon? Here, let's take a trip to Amazon.
I'm looking at the Kobe Bryant books. Yeah, look at the Kobe Bryant books.
I was going to show you something.
Show me something then.
I'm sure you've seen this by now. I don't know where.
If I click on Kobe Bryant, will it just take me to... Yeah, okay, it does. All right, cool.
So there it is, people. Klaus Schwab, COVID-19. Not the great flu, not the pandemic. The Great Reset. The Great Reset. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? Klaus Schwab. Uh-oh. We got to check out that. And then let's just take a name of the look of his other books there. Oh, Shaping the Future for the Industrial Revolution, the Fourth Industrial Revolution. So that's what Klaus Schwab is about, for anyone who doesn't know. And I'm about 98% sure he was the dude who got on TV and said that COVID-19 isn't going to go down in the history books as a great pandemic like the Spanish flu of 1918 and blah, blah, blah. He said it was a great opportunity. For what? I'd like to know. To what? To take my money, shut my restaurant, take my job? Is that part of the plan? I'm not trusting the plan. You know what? I'll trust the plan when they can explain this. Once again, churchofsatan.com. The hierarchy.
Never mind the man behind the curtain.
Yeah. The magus or the MAGA, whoever it is. Not good stuff, people. Fifth degree. And I was telling people before, like the name of this little thing is, there's light at the end of the tunnel. People got to start accepting that we're in the tunnel.
Bro.
We're in the tunnel.
This book here, there's an academy where the most elite athletes go. So they sign the contracts to go to the academy to hone their skills. It says they must learn to master their grana in order to save the world from dark forces that are arising.
Nice. Sounds awfully like Space Jam.
Grana is magic for Kobe. That's
Nice.
what he calls his magic, grana. What the hell's this?
What am I looking at?
Reset.
Yeah, this is just the table of contents to the Great Reset. No big deal. Step 1, get your macro reset. No big deal. Step 2, economic reset. And look at all the things you got to do to get step 1 done. Wow, interesting. Not independence, interdependence. Can't wait for that. Employment should be unemployment because they're knocking that one right out of the deal. And the fate of the U.S. dollar. I love how that's just thrown in there because we know that's going to get thrown right out the door. And this is my favorite. I don't know how to say that word, but look at 1333. No big deal. The return of big government. The social contract. Nice. That makes me feel great.
Yeah, baby.
For all this stuff to come, the technological reset. Great. The risk of dystopia. Think we're there. It's just nuts, dude. In the macro, or you got the micro reset. Your macro, now we're going bigger. We're going micro. Watch out, baby. Better watch out. The industry, they got to reset that, dude. Like, that's nuts. Like, who makes a book like this in the midst of a pandemic? Like, nuts, dude.
Who has enough time to even get enough information together to call it the Great Reset?
Right, unless it was, pre-planned. But
shit.
Once again, we'll digress on that one.
You don't say.
No, we'll keep that open. All right. What else did I want to show you? Oh, let me show you some apparently false information.
Okay.
You're gonna like this.
Doubt it.
Nah, I think you might.
I don't know.
Here, let's blow it up for these people. These good people. Where are we? Facebook. Yeah, false information found in my post. That sucks. Let's see what we were false about. No, this information was not helpful. Oh my goodness, did they just change it on me? Because they're giving me the reason why they took my post down. Oh, here it is. Yeah.
Oh, now we're getting into it, boys.
Now we're getting into it. Look at this. COVID-19 vaccines do not modify the human genome and do not involve hydrogels. Hydrogels are not internet connecting devices. Because I shared the Moderna website featuring Profusa. But they're claiming that none of this is real, none of this is reality, yet we go right over here, the Department of Defense and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation have partnered with
Hi,
a
Jen.
company called Profusa. What is she, backstage, or is she in the chat?
Chat.
Oh, I'll have to send her a link if she wants in. Shoot me a message, Jen, if you want to join. I'll put you on. And it's just nuts, dude. Like, look at this. We've talked about this. This is a permanent chip made of an advanced material called hydrogel. Irreversibly ties humans to the internet cloud. But yet, you go on Facebook, and they're claiming that's not reality. Oh, so this is one link, okay? Let's hit the old back button. What about this one? What about this one? What about that one? What about all of these? What about the military.com, the defense.com, profusa.com? What about all of those? Those just are fake new DARPA injectable solutions? Yeah, that's a real thing. And apparently you have, I'm not mad that they took my post down. I'm just mad that people are going to scroll by it now and assume it's fake because the independent fact checkers told them it was fake.
Right.
And information isn't going to reach the people it should reach. Because to any person with common sense, you read this. Where am I?
Mm.
You read what we just read about having irreversible hydrogel chips that connect you to the internet cloud. That's a problem. That's a problem. And anyone, dude, I could go through my contacts list and just read that's how I'd answer the phone. Hello, a permanent chip, blah, blah, blah. What do you think about that? Oh, probably sucks. Okay, click. I could probably do that to 9 out of 10 people on my contact list. And there's probably 8 people in my whole phone who know what the fuck is going on. That's the crazy thing about this. Anyone could see through this and they're censoring it. It's nice. It's nice. And at some point we're gonna watch this video here, a little 20-minute video by Days and Noah. He broke it down better than I did with Profusa. A lot better than I did. I didn't even know he found this stuff, and then he blew it out of the water. He found a couple more links that are even more just in depth, you know. And the way he's reading it, you would think he's ad-libbing, like me, throwing a little extra verb here or there. No, he's literally reading this crap off of the website. It's nuts. So we'll get into that.
That's why I still use those sites. Like I'll go grab a CNN article or Daily Mail or some USA Today, New York Post, like the thing I sent you from the New York Post, talking about there's a new strain of COVID because the virus needed a way to get around the mask and social distancing. So you're telling me what you're saying is that the virus sat back, had an old good brainstorming sesh, and was trying to figure out how to get around the mask and social distancing.
Ooh.
It thought for itself.
Wow. So we got a virus.
Itself.
So we got a virus who steps away from you at restaurants once you sit down, but the second you stand up, it attacks you. Now it's assessing the mask and the gloves and PPE, and it's gonna supercharge itself.
Hey, can I ask you a question?
Let's hear it.
You don't have to answer because you know what kind of question I'm about to ask you. But have they announced any flu deaths this year?
Yo, not publicly, but I was on a website not too long ago, and if you break down their numbers with the math that they give us, you know, because 98% were actually, 200-year-old people who fucking died because it is what it is. If you do the math, there's been, I think, 2 or 3 times as many flu deaths, but no one wants to talk about that. It's crazy.
Where's all the mass shootings? I know there was 2, quote unquote, 2 recently, but over the last 8 months, there has only been 2.
Yeah, but those didn't reach mainstream media till what, Tuesday or Wednesday?
And they're already out of cycle.
Exactly, dude. And those happened on what, Friday or Saturday night. You didn't see nothing. I didn't see nothing all weekend. I was off on Monday, and I caught a glimpse of it on the time ticker banner on whatever, some Good Morning shit in the morning. I don't know what I was watching, but
Right.
I just wanted to get a quick deal. I was like, are these people going to talk
Yeah,
about it?
I
They
heard
didn't.
it Tuesday morning before I left for work.
Oh, I didn't even hear it. I just happened to catch it on the ticker taker. I was like, oh, that's all we're getting for the mass shooting. You know why they didn't give it the coverage it should? Because it didn't fit the agenda. Because it was an actual event. It was, I don't want to be that.
That's the thing. It was when you break it down, you can sum it up very easy. What happened? Gang violence.
Exactly. That's a better way of saying what I was going to say. But yeah.
Wasn't it like people walked up to people on a basketball court?
And it was on, dude. It was on like the West.
Yeah, that's gang violence. The guys who shot the other guys had to get they do this for a lot of gangs do this for initiation, where you have to go kill innocent people to show how hard you are. So they just walk up to random people, or they could have been drug dealers that a bad deal went sideways. Like, there's no way to tell, but that's not the same as like a quote mass shooting. Because it was an act, like it wasn't an event. It actually happened. And so they talked about it for 2 seconds and then that's it. I mean, the liberal media loves choking on the cock of taking guns away. And yet they didn't even talk about it for 24 hours. Okay.
It's nuts. It's because, you said it better than I did. I was going to say because it was most likely black on black violence. And, when that happens, they just turn the cheek.
Yeah. And that is a problem. And a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that I think it's either 80 or 90% of all violent crimes, what they call it, violent crimes on black people are done by other black people. The same. But that's not like black people aren't, that's not a unique thing. The most violent crimes on white people come from other white people. It's the same in all races. It's just that, so that means only 10% of violent crimes come from other races towards blacks or whites or, whatever the case may be. And that's the small minority they want you to focus on.
And they have the spotlight on that big time. They're nuts, dude. It's crazy.
It was a shooting of like 11 people. 2 died, 11 got injured, and they talked about it for 30 seconds in the morning before I went to go take my morning piss before I went to work. And I never heard about it again.
We're talking Rochester, right?
Yeah.
And apparently there was a second mass shooting in Chicago that last weekend as well. I didn't hear nothing about that. Did you?
Well, I mean, that's not really.
I know, but it was still. I think.
Did you send Jen the link?
Didn't she just hop backstage?
Oh, there you go. Make sure. Well, no, I just saw in the chat she said send the link. So, but yeah, I heard about the one in Chicago, but all I know about it is, it happened in Chicago.
Yeah, that's what happened.
That's all I know. I don't know the details. I don't know what the guy's name. I mean, and these mass shootings, the ones that are events, within the first 30 minutes, I got the dude's Facebook posts, Twitter feed. I got the dude's address. They're interviewing his mom. And then these mass shootings here, where it's just clearly gang violence or drug violence, I haven't heard. I heard about it for 30 minutes, if that, on the news before I went to work. And that's it. Never heard about it again.
It's crazy.
You probably can tell what's the real stories and what isn't, and what they're going to promote.
Yeah,
because you guys, we all know more than anyone. Like I just said a couple seconds ago, liberal media loves the gun debate, taking away the guns, and they had a prime example right there to talk about guns, and they said no, we didn't fake that one. We can't do it. Anyway, back to the president. Like, what? People are dead. Hello,
president.
Yeah, the guy that has the suit.
Oh, of course.
POTUS.
POTUS. Jar. He was looking, I was just scrolling on YouTube last night. I guess he had a rally or something. I clicked it. I clicked it for 10 seconds. Yo.
Dude, it's like a WWE fucking rally.
It literally was. Like, I thought they were hyping up the main event for WrestleMania, and this guy could not have looked more orange. I was like, yo.
I think
he's the walking, talking 33.
Yeah,
literally,
dude. And you know what's funny too, because you bring up WWE, is that I mean, that's what he is, right? He's an over the top 80s like heel wrestler from the 80s, like someone like the Ultimate Warrior or something, like over the top, just like because it was cartoony back in the 80s. Because I mean, there's no way there's no one in this earth could tell me that he walks around like that in his own private life, that orange. He just doesn't. He does it because it's a gimmick. It's a look.
First
It's what he's
off,
known
if
for.
you're going to get a spray tan or any kind of tan, you can't be wearing them white goggles. I mean, those goggles that give you the white eyelids and stuff. I mean, come on. That's like tanning 101 there. I mean, how could they even send them out? It's like they send them out on purpose looking like this.
It's a gimmick.
Sorry.
It's like 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 Sting. Like Sting comes out in the face paint, or you got the Undertaker coming out the way he comes out. It's a whole orchestrated big gimmick, and it's just like, he would fit right in with the 80s wrestlers.
I mean, he did a stint on WWE. Yeah.
Go ahead, Steve.
No, I was just gonna say he did do a stint on WWE. Like he was at WrestleMania 22 or 23, something like that. And
he body slammed somebody, choked somebody out. Man, he was like all over those people. Like it was Trump versus McMahon for a hair match, and they picked people to fight for them. So I think Vince got I want to say Austin, but. And Trump got Booker T or something. We should bring up a clip of it and show Trump you're in there.
You're close, Bobby.
Listen, he's in the ring talking, and if you compare that to his speech now at these rallies, it's like virtually the same.
There's no difference. But Bobby, you're close. Austin, no, not Austin. No, what the hell is his name? McMahon had Umaga. I don't know if you remember him from back.
Umaga, and then Bobby Lashley.
Yep.
Stone Cold was the ref.
Yes, yeah, dude. He stunned the Donald, dude. I was dying when that happened.
That's so funny. He's actually in the Hall of Fame.
Who?
Trump.
No.
Yeah, for WWE, WWE has like your wrestlers. They have like different categories. So they have wrestlers, announcers, and like celebrity. They have a celebrity wing.
Come on.
So Trump's in the celebrity wing.
Wow.
It's like what was it? What was it last week? I was on the computer doing stuff, and I had Monday night or Sunday night afternoon football. Well, with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman were on. I had to mute it, and I'm over here looking. I look over, and I'm seeing this montage done for Joe Buck. I'm like, what the? Why is there a montage for Joe Buck? And then like it gets done, and they elected Joe Buck to the Football Hall of Fame as an announcer. I'm like, geez, anyone can get in now.
That's like the saddest thing, dude. Because I even when I was into sports, I could not stand Joe Buck, not one bit.
No.
Now that I'm not into sports, I could really give a shit about him. But I mean, if I did see him on the street, I would definitely slap that fucking smirk off his face. But
he's a smug prick, ain't he?
Oh, dude, every time that let's rewind the clocks like 10 years, if I wanted a team to win and Joe Buck's announcing, they're not going to win. I don't know what it is with that guy, but just always busting my balls. Fuck that guy.
I think that's his gimmick too, because like when I was into like, because sports was like my thing, like I wanted to be a pro athlete. And so like, even still now, if I go back and watch a clip with the right music to it and the right, announcer, you get chills and stuff because that's how it's made to be.
Yeah.
But
same.
like, I hated Joe Buck because like even back when I was into it, like go like that, like he'd be like, McNabb to Owens touchdown, no flags. You'd be like, all right, Jesus, dude. Thanks for like really pumping it up there, dude. Holy.
Right. And like,
I hate him.
There was a big play. And he was announcing it to be like a 1-yard rush for a touchdown, and he'd be going like nuts about that. But the Red Sox hit a walk-off home run in 2004 to extend the series. He just, we'll see you later tonight. Broadcast ends. I'm like, what a fucking prick, dude.
Have you guys ever gone to one of those wrestling matches?
Yes, my whole life was wrestling matches.
Not any
I
like
went to one in Philly. I went to one in Philly, Bobby, when I lived there. This is back when the Warrior was wrestling.
Yeah.
Remember the Warrior?
Ultimate Warrior. Yeah.
Yeah, the Ultimate Warrior. Yeah. So we went during that time. I was like,
That was prime time.
17, 18.
My dad was a part-time journalist, so whenever the WWF at the time would come, he would hop on for the 2-week East Coast tour. And so I was 3 years old, eating spaghetti, sitting in between Jake the Snake Roberts and like Hulk Hogan.
That's
and
nuts.
I'm just sitting there eating away my little spaghetti, being 3 years old, not knowing the magnitude of the situation. But like my dad got to interview like the Shawn Michaels and those kind of people.
You should have pictures of that shit.
we have a couple that got saved over the years, and my dad had a friend who got into wrestling. His name was Steven Richards. He was from Philly.
That's a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my dad's like one of his best friends. So yeah, wrestling matches was my life, and I'm talking like my life. I mean, my dad took me to indie shows. I was in wrestling matches where it was across the street from vacant houses in Baltimore.
Yep.
I was everywhere.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've never been to like any big ones like a Monday Night Raw or anything, but whenever they do their like their little whatever the pre WrestleMania tour, 2,000-3,000 venue, definitely catch that, and just little not even WWF affiliated stuff we would go to. Like if they were having like a wrestling match at the Boys and Girls Club, like those would be sick ones because some things can go wrong there, and I've seen it, dude. I'm like, yo,
I've seen it too. I've seen it too. I seen it, and I was a part of it. I was a indie wrestler for a couple of years, 16 to 18. And I got the in because of my dad. He was a referee at an indie Soul City here in Philly. And I was in a match with a triple threat with the champion, and whoever pinned the champion got the belt opportunity at the next quote pay-per-view, Big Show. And there was a spot where I super kicked the guy. He was supposed to go up and over the ropes and like hit his head on like the ring thing and cut his head and give him some juice. And he went up and over, did the bump. I was like, all right, that looked great. And he came back up, and I couldn't see his eyes. His entire face was just blood. He cut too deep. He needed like 15 stitches.
Wow.
Because he also took baby aspirin before to make his blood thinner.
Jesus.
To make it blood bleed more. And he went too deep. And I was horrified. I was 16 years old. That was my first match.
Wow.
What did I get myself into?
What is this nonsense?
Nuts. But hey, can you guys hold it for 1 second? I just gotta move my car.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
All right, so let's see. Who said I'm trying to see. Someone said get ready, Trump's going to win again, and people are going, oh, you clicked it. Hello. Yeah, I was just browsing Twitter, and apparently one of the big news stories right now is President Trump's support among black voters is higher than it's been for Republicans. So I think that's another storyline to let you know, hey, the black, communities are going to vote Trump. It was 19% in 2016. It's up to 30 something now. They're saying.
Wow.
So,
that's crazy.
I guess. I mean, the fact that like they use the black community in such like a
and they let themselves get used. They love
it. I can't believe it. Where like they're literally using you as a stat. Like, oh, finally, like the black community is going to vote for a Republican, and that's what it's just like. And now when he wins, that's so now the liberals will hate the black communities. Like, oh, how could you turn on us? You could have changed, blah, 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 and things like that. And it's just going to be a damn shame because they just get used in this country over and over and over again, and then they just a Democrat comes and promises free shit, and they line right back up and vote for vote again. It's like, stop voting.
Yeah.
If your vote is so important that they break it down to its own stat, stop voting, please. Like, you're just giving these people power to keep doing what we're doing. I don't mean power by actually like power of position of office, but power to, because you're still stuck in that system, in that hamster wheel spinning around and around and around.
Yeah, that's exactly where they want us.
Yeah, it's going to take all of us to be like, all right, I ain't voting no more. Me either. Me either. All right, cool.
Never
Now
voted
where you at?
ever. I think I voted once when I was younger. Never voted again. And I'm not ashamed to say it. Never was. It's a waste of fucking time. Once you realize that they're selected, what's the fucking point?
My
Except
first,
going out and feeling good about yourself for
Getting a-
thinking you have
you get a
some
sticker.
revolutionary choice there.
I voted. A little sticker.
I vomited.
My first election was Obama Romney or Obama McCain.
Oh my gosh, dude.
I voted for the Incredible Hulk.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's the best.
So
candidate.
somewhere in PA
He meant
there was one vote for the Incredible Hulk.
All right, I gotta look in this book here real quick.
Go look in the book.
I got my little black book of numbers and stuff, and I'm buying a Flattoberfest ticket right now for my son.
Go ahead.
And I
Let's see what we got here.
say hi to some people.
Biden and Trump are on the same team, so it wouldn't surprise me if he did win too. It all depends, David. It all depends which way they want to go. It all depends on what they want to force. Do they want to force the continued chaos in the streets and the riots, or do they now want to move straight into full on B system and get pedophilia to be legalized across the country? I mean, I can see I could see a good clear way for both, but given recent history of these fake people,
Yeah.
I think Trump will probably get two.
Oh yeah, he's definitely gonna get two. I've
I
said
guess-
this day one. He's getting. They all get it.
Are we commenting on the comment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. I was going to bring that up in a minute, but
No, so but the I mean I could also kind of see a way of like, because what they like to do too is give people false
Yeah.
hope. So if Biden were
Yeah,
to
they love
win,
the hopium.
yeah, if Biden were to win, quote unquote, it would almost like have this sense of like amongst the people, and maybe more people would be better going off again, going with say a vaccine or a chip, because Biden's in office and it's doing it to protect us. Where if Trump's in office and they're trying to come around with the military giving people chips, I think it'd be more backlash.
yeah.
So it all depends what they want to do, like where they want to go from here. Do they want to keep going with like the shut everything down, Corona's killing everybody, or does it magically disappear after the third?
Well, I think. Well, did Jen give her opinion yet?
No, you go ahead.
Okay, I think that well, see, I don't really know what's going to happen, but let's say the cookie jar gets elected again or selected, whatever.
Okay.
Say he's back in there. That would probably mean that his time left in the main stage as Donald Trump is very, very limited. Because if Creepy Joe gets elected, you're going to have, all the conservatives just what they're doing now, staying home, washing their hands, whatever, following the plan. But if Donald Trump gets elected, liberals, they're already kind of going nuts. Imagine what happens when they find out that their votes weren't enough. They're going to go nuts. They're going to go
This is exactly what happened after the first election with Trump. They went nuts in the streets for months. All these paid Soros protesters lighting their fires and all
Exactly.
kinds of shit.
Exactly.
And it's going to be the same exact thing after this election too. There's no need for it. It's ridiculous. It has to be paid and funded for it to even happen, because otherwise nobody would be out there fucking rioting or doing anything. It's one big fucking stage show. All to cause discord.
Right. That's undeniable. And something that could come out of that would be taking down the cookie jar. There's no reason to take him down now, but if he somehow gets up in there again, those people are going to go nuts, and it would be an allowed takedown, because you can't get next to a senator. You can't get next to anyone like that. But apparently Rand Paul had to get escorted out of the White House because people were
harassing them outside, whatever. You know what I'm saying? In a real world, that doesn't happen. Everything that is happening
even
now
said-
is being allowed to happen.
Whether that's an act or not, it's hard
It
to tell
is.
sometimes. But he's like, where did these people come from? Like 1 minute there's nobody here, next minute there's crowds of people, and they were finding out that these people were from like some other town and stuff like that. Like,
Oh, they were states
you
away.
literally it's like we're living inside an interactive show of some sort. And maybe that's just part of our reality breaking down. We're seeing the absolute ridiculousness of everything around us. The story, his story, everything. It's like layer upon layer upon layer of bullshit.
I saw a video yesterday on Twitter, and it was like, oh my god, a impromptu friggin' protest broke out, and like it was a video. The video started off of videoing this truck, and then all of a sudden, like you see 6, 7, 8 people in like Antifa like looking outfits hop up. They run to the truck and they start getting all their like signs out. I'm like, were they late for their spot?
Yep. I
Did
seen that too, brother.
Did someone catch them being late to their spot? Because like
Now,
the truck was just sitting there in the middle of a parking lot.
not too long ago, they said at one of these protests, don't quote me on which one it was, but it was one of the ones recently where, oh, did you see that car pull up and they jumped out and they grabbed that girl and they threw her in the car and then they took off and then these other cars followed? Everybody kept talking about that like a couple months back. I remember the same thing happening back during the Republican convention in New York after 9/11, when Alex Jones and all these people used to cover this stuff. The same identical situation. Cop pulls up, throws his kid against the car a couple times, throws him in the back of the car, like as if they're like black bagging them and throwing them in a car and driving them away. No reading rights, no patting them down, and just scoop and throw them in and go. And it was just so eerily similar. It's like they're rerunning scenarios on us, traumatizing this next generation, because that was over 10 years ago, all that stuff.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, I brought up, I think, midstream the one time where I saw saw tweets from Trump, and now he's blaming North Korea, like, oh, the liberals are going to use North Korea to sway the election, like Russia. I'm like, it's the same story.
It's the same thing over and over again. They have nothing.
You did this 4 years ago.
Reruns and bullshit to just throw out there and people eat it up.
At least back in the day, they would give you 15 years. Now they give you 4. It literally happened in 2016 where they said Russia swayed the election. Now Trump's like, oh, North Korea's going to sway. I'm like, how do you know that? And if you know that, wouldn't you, as the president, do something to protect that? Like, you're the president, guy. Nope, you're just going to let it happen? Okay, cool. Thanks, dude. Hey, right there, that should be an eye-opening thing. Like, oh, wait, maybe this guy doesn't have power.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just a guy in a suit.
Yeah.
You know, one of those recycled stories that kind of has me on, I wouldn't say edge, but just been settling in the back of my mind lately is, so we know day before 9/11, Mr. Rumsfeld talks about how $5-6 trillion went missing from the Pentagon, and ironically, whatever it was, and you know, ironically, DARPA gets funded all this money a couple weeks later, no big deal. That whole sector goes missing. You know, you had 9/11, biggest false flag biggest visual false flag in history. We'll put it that, because what we're going through right now is the biggest. So you had trillions go missing then, or whatever it was, and now allegedly, $10 trillion are missing, which is another reason they're claiming they can't send out stimuluses and blah, blah. Yeah, so I'm just in my head, I'm like, okay, so the day before 9/11, trillions went missing. The day, yesterday, 2 days ago, whenever it was, we have we got trillions of dollars missing again. So, I'm just like, so are they getting ready to pull something again, major?
Well, check this out, Steve. I just sent you that little video clip. I just got it sent to me from my friend in Australia. I didn't even look at it yet. I just saw the title and I figured let's send it to you, because we are having to decipher from real events to staged events like every other hour anymore with this whole news thing and everything. And so much is being thrown at us through the media and stuff like that, that it's hard to decipher. Like you said, if it's something that is significant and really did happen, it gets very little attention. But when it's one of their staged events, it's just heaped on us over and over and over again. So I don't know if this is a staged or a real event, but I thought maybe we could take a look at it real quick and maybe judge it and see what we think, because it has to do with Wuhan Lab.
Okay.
Yeah, the 2.3.
Breaking news.
I was close. I was close. Okay, I was close. Yeah, 23 is important. That's why Michael Jordan wore 23.
Mm-hmm.
That's why LeBron James now with the Lakers was wearing 23.
That's a very successful number to have. Those people have, but they have a lot of sacrifice too.
When's LeBron's birthday? December 23rd, or I think.
The more the success that you see these people have, the more sacrifice they have to do.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see here.
All right, so what is this title here?
China, it's the phone company.
Yeah.
Research lab in Dong'an City is on fire.
Okay. Okay, somebody was trying to say it was Wuhan Lab. I don't know. I have no clue. It could be fake. It could be just something else that's going on, and they're saying that's what it is. Because over here in America, how the fuck are we supposed to know?
Right.
I had a feeling it was all in Chinese, so yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just turn that off because I don't know what they're saying. No disrespect, but
It's a really weird looking building.
that's what I'm thinking. Doesn't have any doors, windows.
Yeah, it's really weird. And how it's just all like coming straight up from the top, like all over. It's not the sides or the, you know what I mean? It's just straight up the top.
Yeah. I wish they'd zoom in on a street sign so we can really identify. Okay, well, there's a bunch of Chinese people, so. All right, I don't know. I don't know nothing about anything like this. But
Anyway, she sends me stuff like this all the time, and I'll be like, fake, real, fake, real. I've been friends with her on Facebook since like 2009.
Yeah, I would just go with I don't know there. You know, I'm not in China. I can't tell you if
Well, when
that's
the one
actually
we saw with the
happening.
missile that hit Yemen, was it Yemen that blew up recently?
Roulette, whatever it is. Yeah.
Beirut, right. She kept going back and forth with me. Look at this. She sent it to me first. And I was like, my God, that's not real. Like, I was just like, no fucking way. This really happened. This has to be fake. And, it looks like it was real.
Yeah, it's funny how like that's kind of dropped out of everyone's spectrum. I'm still stuck on the idea that whatever that was them reintroducing us to the technology that could have possibly wiped out an entire civilization. As you saw, the building next door, made of 100% steel and concrete, was turned to petrified dust, and it looks awkwardly like Petra.
Yep.
Awkwardly, I just thought very interesting. I don't know what they used, but what they did use, I think, was old world technology.
I think you're right.
I hope I'm not, but yeah.
I can't find it on like news.
Of course not.
Well, they probably scrubbed it already, so you can't go back on. So this is another thing that they do, is that they can change up a story. When you go back and read it, it's different. Or when you go back to look, like a lot of stuff from 2012, you can't find that stuff anymore. I mean, it's all in my head and on a hard drive that I can't fucking get working from 10 years ago. I saved a ton of shit on that thing. And
it's funny. Me and Bobby were just talking about something similar a little while ago. I was like, you ever look something up on your phone and then it doesn't exist on your laptop for some reason? That happens all the time. Like I'll literally type in, HTTP/ whatever, blah, 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 website error, not found. But I'll be viewing it on my phone, no problem. I'm like, well, this is the New York Post, so I don't know what the F I'm looking at here. Like, is my phone just generating stories for me, or I don't know.
At this point, it could, and people would believe it.
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it.
Every phone could tell every person a different story. They'd be sucked into that story, and that would be their reality.
Fact.
I think we're seeing elements of that happening over the last couple of years.
Over in China, they don't know what's going on here. It's whatever their news is going to tell them. They could tell.
Well, same here. We don't know what's happening.
We're burning down right now and everything, and birds are tweeting outside. Everything's fine. The girls are across the street playing soccer.
Right. Well, it's the same thing here. Like I can't really speak on anything that's really even happening outside of my
Exactly.
I would say even the state, you know, because I don't even really know what's happening in other states in reality. But I mean, what's happening in China, India, I don't know, bro. You know, there could be nothing happening there. I've literally seen emails, I've gotten emails, I've had people text me, I've seen screenshots of other people. There's people outside of the US still texting people in the US their condolences.
Yeah.
Like not because they lost their life, but because the U.S. is all over.
Yep.
According to what the mainstream in whatever country they're hanging out in is saying,
Yeah.
you know. And if you go read our mainstream,
in flames.
exactly. And we
check
see
with
the
the
same
weather.
thing here. You see the same thing here in China. China's blowing up. You know, this is going down.
Yeah.
This, that, and the other thing. So, who really knows what happened? But I do have an awkward feeling that whatever happened in Beirut, that was most likely legit. Whether it happened on that day or maybe a day or two prior, so they could get a couple more things set up in place. They do stuff like that. There'll be a giant explosion and you won't hear anything about it for 2 days because they have to get all the interviews ready, whatever, you know. Someone said the wrong thing, they gotta get a new guy, or the dude forgot his lines, perhaps, you know, put it bluntly.
I'm gonna buy those Kobe Bryant Brooks.
We've seen the same thing recently with the hospital supposedly being packed, lines down the street and around the corner, and then video of people going to these hospitals. Nothing's going on. There's nobody there. But on the news, there's thousands of people. They're overwhelmed, and we need fucking ships to come in on either end of the country to help with the overflow. It's amazing to me how this whole thing is just laid out before us, and through the magic of media. Their media magic spell that they've casted is just cast out over everybody. It's broadcasted.
Here we are.
Mm-hmm.
They've pulled it off, dude. You know, in a sick, twisted way, I'll give it to them. You know, they got us. They got us good this time, you know, and they didn't do anything.
Nope.
Not a shot fired. A bomb wasn't dropped.
Nothing.
China didn't show up at the border.
I mean,
Nothing.
sure, people are dealing with stuff on local.
You know
level.
what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. But nothing physical. Nothing, you know.
The military hasn't rolled in yet. We haven't been, you know, microchipped yet or anything like that. I mean, this is all on the horizon, and they want to keep it there to keep us in fear. And when you're in fear and you're confused and your life is turned upside down the way they've done to us over the last 8-9 months, then you're not going to think clearly and make the right choices and right decisions, especially based on bad information, false information.
Isn't it nuts? It's been fucking, like you said, 7-8 months.
Yeah.
That's nuts, dude. Because October is on the horizon. And, you know, I think you're right about a couple of things. You're trying to keep all of that on the horizon for now because either, well, I know it's ready. It's not ready. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got to have the solution already. They've been had it. But it's the way they usher it in. Like we were talking before, they have options right now. They could let Sleepy Joe crawl in and then, you know, and then we're actually in the, I was talking before Bobby joined and you joined, I was correcting myself a little bit. It's not that I don't think we're in the final chapter of the Bible, but we are definitely without a doubt in the beginning of sorrows, the birth pains of the Antichrist New World Order. We're definitely there. Whether the first seal has been blown off or not, you know, that's still sort of up for debate. I lean 80-20 towards it has, but at the I kind of just lost my train of thought. I saw a good comment there. Shoot. Oh man, whatever. But it's just crazy how it's, you know, 8 months in and they're still doing this, and they're keeping that crap on the horizon for a reason, you know, to keep us in fear. But at the same time, it can also be used as the opposite. If they keep it on the shelf, you know, like just in our view on the horizon for so long, a lot of people are just gonna, you know, they're gonna fold their cards. They're not gonna stay in for them to call bluff because they think everyone thinks the governments and the military and the doctors, they got ace double suited right now. That's what everyone thinks. In reality, you know, they could have like a 2-7 suited, but you know, you need 3, 4, 5, 6 to get the fucking straight. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like they have a ways to go, but in reality, but they're appearing it to be, they have the ace hand, you know?
So let me ask you this. They haven't
up.
done anything but media magic, power of suggestion, hypnotism and stuff. But down on the local levels, like in these schools and public areas and restaurants and stuff like that, you have the lower local level people micromanaging each other. So they're already training everybody to micromanage each other and be finger pointing like that one. Like when I was on the airplane, the girl in front of me was listening to what was happening to me and then also proceeded to point out that across the aisle, oh, he don't have a mask on either. So,
Nice.
now, I don't
Karens.
know if you saw the video that I just put up the other day, but a teenage girl just got tased by a fucking
Yeah.
cop in the
Yeah, I
stands
shared that. I
With-
shared that this morning.
with children right there all around watching this happen. They're being re-educated as we speak with this type of behavior. They don't have to come in and re-educate our kids. We're going to do it ourselves by policing each other, condemning each other, shaming each other, tasing each other because you're not doing what they tell you to do. Because we're living under the slave rules, they live under the master rules, and our rules don't apply to them. That's why they can wear no mask and come over and tase us and arrest us for not wearing a mask. But it's okay that they're not wearing a mask. Yet it makes no fucking sense. There's no common sense to that whatsoever. But when you break it down to we're the slaves and these are our rules and they're the masters and it doesn't apply to them, they have a different set of rules, then you see how this game's being played. This is why it's happening. And these kids see it and they're being conditioned to it. See what just happened to that person? You mask up because that could be you. You don't want that to happen, do you?
Exactly. Fear-based mind control. One
And
of the
you saw
oldest
how young
wars.
those kids were. They were like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, these kids. And
Oh,
it was
yeah.
right there in front of their eyes.
They'll be wearing a mask while they take a crap later. You know, that's probably what that did to them. And it's what I've been telling people this, you know, you gotta.
It's how they're getting us to do all this to ourselves. And they don't have to lift a finger. All they got to do is just their magic wand, media magic wand, and then it just happens. It just flows out, ripple effect right through everybody. Everybody who broadcasts it, who tuned in. I don't tune into this shit, and it's just oh my gosh! Like I can see everything that's going on around me, and it's a little scary sometimes because it's like I'm right in the middle of all this. The way these people think their mindsets. One lady tried to freak out of me on the tag place. I went to go get my tags done. And, it's got all their signs outside. It's just a little fucking dinky tag place. 2 women in there with a big, thick, bulletproof glass with a little hole and then a slit where you stick your paper and money under. That's how it is in there. Yet, 2 at a time in. And if you don't have a mask, you can't go in at all. You have to wait outside. They'll deal with your ass outside the door. Well, when I went in, nobody was there to tell me this, right? I go in, they're like, ma'am. I'm like, I don't have a mask. She's like, well, you have to wear a mask, ma'am. You can't come in here. I said, it goes against my religious beliefs. You can't discriminate against that. Okay, ma'am, you got to wait outside. Go. You need to leave now. Go outside. I'm like, what am I going outside for? I'm the only one in here. You're behind fucking 2 inches of glass. Like, what's the problem? Ma'am, you got to leave now. Go outside the door. But she doesn't tell me what's going on. Like, what's going to happen? Will I just stand out there forever? What are you doing? And then she's like, somebody's going to come out and deal with you. And so I go outside. I step out. I kind of walk slowly, too, because they're acting like I'm about to blow their lives up or something, the way they're reacting to me. Ma'am, you need to go now. Like, stop talking. Just get out the door. I mean, are you fucking kidding me? Yet I go to the post office, which is a government-funded building, the United States Post Office. They have a spit guard in front of them at the counter, and that's it. She's wearing a mask. I go in there, no mask, no problem. She says, ma'am, do you have a mask? I said, no. It goes against my religious beliefs. She said, okay, could you please just stay in front of the spit shield? Because I was kind of leaning off to the side and typing my numbers into the card thing. I have bad eyes to begin with. I don't wear my reading glasses out. So when I have to look down at something, I can't, going through plastic as well is just going to make it even blurrier. So I try to look around it. She says, can you just stay in front of the glass? If you're, come in next time, don't lean off to the side. I'm like, all right, fine, no problem. But these people over at the fucking tag place, you would think I was a ticking time bomb and I was about to explode all over their fucking lives. That's how bad they were. And anyway, 30 seconds later, she comes out the door. I'm standing right there. I hand her my paper and my money. She goes back in, comes back out, gives me my change, and I leave. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like,
I don't know.
I don't get it.
Hey,
That's where we are.
I'm going to give you two headlines, and then
Okay.
I got to get out of here to be dad.
Oh,
All right, Steve, this one's for you.
Oh boy.
Homeless black man, age 42, is shot dead by cops in Orange County.
Orange County.
Well, 42, the N word with the
great.
hard R equals 42.
Mm-hmm.
And they
Mhm.
place it all over black athletes. Jackie
There's
Robinson
Rasta,
wore
yep.
42. Yeah, Rasta, Slave, Blues, all that good
Orange is
stuff.
33. Orange
Orange
County.
is 33,
Hey,
yep. Here we go. This one's an exclusive. Supreme Court frontrunner Amy Coney Barrett hid her membership of the religious group that inspired hit TV show The Handmaid's Tale and teaches wives have to obey their husbands and everything, even voting. So this is the person that Trump wants to be in the Supreme Court seat.
Nice.
That's probably fake too, because they're
Yeah,
trying
but
to
they're
get together, and
bleeding
all the
everything
people
together.
that they're picking look bad, so they're going to
Yeah.
throw this stuff out.
Well,
The Handmaid's Tale, it's educational. Everybody should watch it.
People hate her because she's Catholic.
I'm Catholic.
Right, but that's what. So that's
I
the
mean,
whole
I'm not
thing.
practicing, but I was raised Catholic. I got the sacraments
But
all but the last one.
It's just another like. Well, first, the one thing why it's good is because they have they're bleeding realities, TV show, real life, quote unquote. They're bleeding.
It's creating a
those two.
schism between people.
Yeah,
Look who
and
Trump's picking. He's picking this crazy woman who condones
Yeah,
fucking
exactly.
Handmaid's Tale and stuff.
But she's
And-
also Catholic, so she's crazy because she believes in God.
Schism.
All
Right, none of that crap.
right, I'm gonna get up out here. Dad duties. I love y'all. Love everyone in the chat. This was fun. Whenever you go live again, just hit me up.
I got you, Bobby. Have a good
All right.
night, brother.
You
God
too,
bless.
brother. You too.
Bye. Yeah,
All right.
crazy times.
Yeah, it really is crazy times. And, I was going to say, like, people got to try to, not even try, just do something now while you have, people like, Karens and soccer moms and trying to enforce the mask rule. Because sooner or later, there's going to be actual enforcers enforcing the rule, if you know what I'm saying, whether it's mask or stay the fuck in your house. That's how these people talk to people. It's nuts, dude. It's nuts. And people got to understand what's happening now. It's bad, but we got to stop it before it gets like capital BAD.
Yeah, it's festering and it's becoming like,
Oh, well, once the military
Abscess.
shows up, if they showed up, the Karens are just gonna point them right down the street
there's
to
gonna be the
Ben's
finger
house,
pointers.
to Steve's house, to Suso's house, and Bobby's, and all.
If you remember V for Vendetta, if anybody saw it, in that movie, they had the reclamation. First, they had all the diseases and all this stuff, and then they had sections that were immune or vaccinated, and this was New London and stuff. And outside of that, nobody went to these places anymore because they were condemned from the virus and the plagues and stuff. And but in that area that everybody lived, this part that was all clean and not had no viruses, they had the finger pointers. The brown shirts or whatever the hell they were, walking the streets. If you were caught out after dark or whatever like that, you had to show your papers, explain yourself. You could possibly be taken away for who knows how long. No notification to your family or anything like that. And these are just regular people. They're dressed like regular people. You don't know until they're up on you and pointing you out, or they don't need cops anymore. They're getting us to defund our own cops through all of these fucking events. I don't like cops. I've been very vocal about that. Cops are not my favorite people, but at the same time, there is a place for some type of overarching defense mechanism for people who are victims of crime. There has to be some accountability, but they're making all of us the criminals. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's not cool.
No, well, see, they have it backwards. If this was a real world in reality, people like you and me would probably be detectives. But no, you know what I'm saying? Like, we wouldn't nowadays. Let's say we were detectives for some reason. There was a drug bust, $100,000 and whatever. The other detectives, they're most likely gonna open their wallets, take some money, take some drugs, and then report a less amount found and still charge them with the full amount,
And that's steezy. I couldn't bring myself down to do anything like that, and that would most likely lead to
The reason there's corruption in the
a
police
wall.
force is because it is a for-profit organization. China
Absolutely.
has stock in our police departments and prisons.
They've been recently betting against that. You should look into that.
They're revenue police more than anything.
Yeah.
You know, if you get robbed or raped or all this stuff like that, there has to be some way that we have groups of people that investigate these things and protect the public that way. But the way they've militarized our police since 9/11 in Iraq and everything,
Oh my
God. Systematically
they brought them up like they football teams.
Our gun rights and the weapons that we're allowed to use and the amount of bullets that we're allowed to buy and all this stuff. At the same time, militarizing the police, which, you know, they knew what they were doing there as well, because they knew there was going to be people in pushback about that. Well, what are you doing militarizing the police? Blah, 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 and all this stuff like that, you know. So they created that division. And then they bring in all these fake shootings and killings and beatings and all this stuff like that. And then people start looking at the cops like, okay, now, like, look at you. You're all militarized and you're just overbearing and overpowering us. And, you know, something's got to be done about this. How many years have they been talking about something's got to be done about these cops and stuff? We've heard it over and over and over. It's like school shootings. But, yeah, this is what they want us to do. They want us to defund the police because they're 10 steps ahead of us. They're 100 steps ahead of us. But on this, it's like they're tagging us along. It's like the carrot and the stick. It's either you're going to go after the carrot and keep chasing it, or they're going to give you the stick. They're going to beat it into you.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that that's like the inevitable future that is held. You know, it's just crazy how we've brought ourselves. I mean, like, what is it? No, September of last year. I would not have envisioned anything like this for September of this year. I knew 2020 was going to be crazy.
Coming, but I had no idea it was to this proportion at all.
I just didn't think it was going to be, everything was going to be rolled out this quick. You know, the power of suggestion was very, very influential in the last 9 months.
And the media itself is one of the major weapons that they have. And they are playing this weapon like a violin over us. I mean, they're just getting us to dance to every tune that they fucking play. And it's got to stop. People, like in the movie They Live, they went and finally blew up the tower that was transmitting to all the TVs out there. They broke that connection to wake people up, like, because people were so sucked in and zombified and living their lives accordingly and feeling and thinking and fearing all the stuff that the TV told them to.
Imagine that. And that was just a movie. That's crazy, you know, and they let little things come out like that for people like us to see. And, you know, I just wonder how many people actually saw that movie for what it was, not just, oh, look at Roddy Piper, ha ha ha. You know, honestly, I haven't really looked into the analytics on that movie, but I would not doubt if box office were a bust in a bad way. I would not doubt it, you know, because movies like that aren't appreciated till you know, 5-6 years later, where you're like, oh, wow, look where we are now. Wasn't there that weird movie I saw at one time? And it's like, oh, shit. It's like, here we are. That's how I feel about Idiocracy. Idiocracy was the dumbest movie when I was growing up. Now I'm like, oh, now I get it. Now I get it.
Yeah, because when you see the people in Idiocracy, you know exactly how he slept most of the time. But we know exactly how they got that way. And it was through cultural mindset, trendiness, and laziness, and the fucking media and fast foods. And stuff. They are literally shaping us into what they want us to be, which is complete opposite of what we actually are and should be doing and living our lives. It's really bad.
That's what I tell people. That's what I was saying before even Bobby came on. I was like, there's more to this reality than meets the eye. You got to understand it's not building up your physical appearance or your economic status. It's building up your spirit, your soul, your mind, and your heart. You know, what's inside of you. And, you know, it's just crazy. I don't want to sound new agey, but, you know,
well, it's true.
God dwells in the heart of man. You know?
My sister, how did we get here said, and consume. Yeah, they want us to consume and be all about the exterior of ourselves. How many cars and fancy jewelry and clothes can I have? Like, never knowing the true self. Know thyself, right? So my sister's friend is back in the day when she was in high school, she used to have the latest sneakers that came out. Back in the 90s, it was a thing to line up outside the stores to get the latest Reeboks or Jordans or Nikes that came
it's
out.
still a thing.
And this is when they started to get to be up around $100 and more, like ridiculous shit, right? And she was one of the girls that had the latest Coach bags and all this stuff, and perfect everything. And now she's a crackhead living in and out of hotels with her crackhead boyfriend.
Imagine
Skinny
that.
as fuck, ugly as fuck. And for me, it's like knowing her that way and then hearing how she is now, it's like she never took the time to know who she was. She got so sucked in to the cultural mindset, the trendiness of the time, and keeping up with the Joneses or whatever the fuck she's trying to keep up with.
Yeah.
That she totally missed herself in all that. She was too worried about dressing up the outside of herself and coloring her hair and having the latest earrings and shoes and everything. She had everything back when she was younger.
It sounds like she was too focused on what and who she wanted to be rather than what and who she really is. You know, a lot of people get lost in that. You know, I've been I've done that before too in my life. You know, you try to build yourself up like physically, then you got money, and then you know, sooner or later you sit down, you're like, what the fuck is all this even for? You know, one day I'm gonna pass away and all of this is just gonna turn to dust over a very whatever, you know. And it's a humbling thought or experience to just sit back and just know that everything here in the physical and the flesh, you know, like even the chair I'm sitting on is just yet a minor speed bump in what is actually being, you know, what has actually been done here on this plane, like time and time again. Because I mean, we're at the end of something here, you know. It could be the big book in general, could be a chapter, but you know, you gotta expect the best but prepare for the worst, you know, whether that's physically, whether that's mentally.
They're taking us through transition right now. America is in transition right now, and they're getting us to transition ourselves, but they're using the black scrying mirror thing that everybody has in their homes and stuff and in their hands to control that mindset and steer it. And it's so insidious to sit back and look at it and you know, coming through all these years, like 15 years of research and going down all these rabbit holes and seeing the big tapestry, like the puzzle almost all put together. You know, I still have some missing pieces and stuff, but it's just, like when they say in the Matrix, you can't explain it. It's here. It's all around you. Like you feel it when you go to pay your taxes and all this stuff. It's everywhere. It's this overlay that they've put over us, and it's totally captured our consciousness and won't let us rise above their ceiling that they've created for us.
No, it sucks that they've created a barrier on human life, you know, like I mean, if you were to, I mean, you can't even say that, because I mean, they've enslaved people physically and mentally since the beginning of time. And what we're seeing now is just like the mastered version of Satanism and Luciferianism. You know what I'm saying? Because there were probably things that happened back then that just didn't pan out according to plan because they weren't sophisticated or didn't have the emotional whatever, you know, involvement, whatever you want to call it, or devolvement. Because if they try to roll this out, you know, 200-300 years ago, I have a strange feeling the greater good of man would have stood up and said, go F yourself. Now, since the devolving of our emotional and physical and mental capabilities have just dwindled, we've let it right in the front door. We've opened the door. We've put the mat out, actually, you know. It's crazy. The door's always been open.
Well, they tricked us. You know, that's what you know, like they say, when a vampire comes to your door, he has to be invited in. Well, he's going to trick you to invite him in. He's going to look prim and proper, might even have a gift for you, you know, and anybody who's not spiritually has their armor on and stuff, be like, oh, come on right in, you know, and you just invited the devil into your house. And now they're going to like vampirize your fucking consciousness.
Wreak havoc. Yep. Yeah. Been there, done that, dude.
Our consciousness needs to evolve and expand, and they've kept it trapped and stunted.
and scared for the most part too. Fear
Yeah.
is a big part of
Fear is
that.
a mindset.
Because I mean, mainstream media is 100% fear, but I'd say a good maybe like 30-40% of what we look at could be considered fear-based mind control as well. Because half of the stuff that I hear quacked about, that even I quack about sometimes, it might not even happen in this lifetime. But the idea that it could is just very, very interesting, because you have rollouts of, I thought 5G was bad, but apparently they're starting to roll out 6G, because 5G is not going to be able to hold it's going to be able to hold the hive mind, but it won't be able to connect everything. I have a little slideshow we'll look at in a little bit, but it's just interesting how the name of the only 6G company in the world is called 6 Genesis. And as I showed the other day, you go to Genesis chapter 6. It's the first time in the Bible that's mentioned the fall of angels to breed with human beings and birth Nephilim, and it's an abomination, blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't need to go on from there, but you just put 2 and 2 together as as just a person. You should be able to see whether you believe in the Bible or not. Just even if you think it's a story, you can show me a fictional movie, and if they start doing something like that in real life, that'll alarm me. That should alarm everyone. It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely nuts what they've brought us to and where they're bringing us. That's the scary part. They brought us, they showed us part of the hand, but there's still some things that need to happen, unfortunately.
They got some tricks up their sleeves, and I think we're going to see some of them come in December, going in January and stuff, especially after the elections. Just expect more rioting. Soros has busloads of people ready to go. Their bank accounts are full, and they're just seething at the mouth. They can't wait.
Yeah.
They got their scripts.
I think I got one of their tricks right here. You got USA Today claiming that defeat COVID-19 by a vaccination for all. It's not un-American. It's patriotic. So getting your vaccines now is patriotic.
Now they're pulling on the heartstrings of Americans. Patriotic. Yep.
Because you have those fake patriots that hear this and they're like, "Oh, better get your vaccine, America." Ridiculous. And once again, I don't know why, but this little Maxwell name is popping up everywhere ever since. I don't even know her name. Whatever, that Maxwell chick got busted, started allegedly dishing out names. Ever since that happened, every single doctor, whatever, has been named Maxwell. From what I've shown, it's crazy. But I just thought I think this is one of their cards. That they're gonna paint it as unpatriotic. And I've actually heard claims from, I don't know if it was the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation or it could have been Trump, or they could offer up to $1,000 for you to get your COVID-19 vaccine once it's ready. How nice is that?
And that, people that are on the fence, that'll get them off the fence. That'll get a good portion of people off the fence.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They're diabolical.
Did you see this?
Oh, God, no.
No, you got Fauci as the 100 most influential person, I guess, or whatever. He's in the top 100.
Up person is what he is.
Notice how the M makes horns on his head, though.
Oh yeah, look at that, Steve. That's good.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
So these are part of the 100 I just read here. So this is part of the 100, I guess. You have people like Oprah Winfrey, Chrissy Teigen, great people. Kamala Harris, another great person. Nice dude.
All the high-level witches and priests.
Of course. Why would I expect anything less? Just very interesting. I don't know why I clicked that. What did I want? Where did it go?
Lucifer's minions.
Yeah. You see this one? Oh, get that shit out of here, bro.
Prostitution or human trafficking.
That's interesting, huh? New York Post is a rather liberal news media outlet, and they put this out there. This is like CNN saying that, like, you don't need to get a vaccine anymore, in my opinion. Once again, another example of the externalization of the hierarchy. And if this doesn't get trending, and if there's no outrage, that's how they'll get Sleepy Joe in office, because there's no election. It's about where the what would you call it? The moral, where the morality of America is come November 4th or whatever it is, you know? It's just crazy. And yeah. Well, I'll show this again just in case anyone missed this here. MAGA. You know, if you think the MAGA movement's awesome, well, just understand that that's the fifth stage of the hierarchy in the Church of Satan. So go America. Keep it great.
Right.
Like, that blows me away how people can't put that together. And I don't know if I told you, but I got an independent fact checker call on the Profusa stuff that we were sharing. Apparently, Facebook says that hydrogel is irreversible. COVID-19 vaccines will not have chips in them. Yet I go on Department of Defense-backed websites, and they say quite the opposite.
This is how they lie. They don't care.
I know.
They don't even care if they contradict themselves.
It's crazy. Well, the thing is, people are just going to scroll past that and be like, oh, independent fact checkers say it's false, and it probably is, you know?
Because they love authority. They're suckers of authority's cock. It's disgusting. Fact checker. Who the fuck is fact checker? Who are these people? I don't think they're fucking bots that are sent out to say everything's fake fucking news.
That's what I said. I was like, yo, these people are just absolutely nuts. What was I gonna ask you? Did you see the Klaus Schwab book that he released? The COVID-19, the Great Reset? I
didn't look at it, but I saw it.
Check out the table of contents real quick.
Oh boy.
You'll appreciate this. Maybe not appreciate it, but that's not it. COVID-19, not the flu, the Great Reset. Nice. So I don't know why that's not working. There it is. Blah, 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 blah. There it is. Table of contents. What's one? The old macro reset. Like what? Just throwing that out there.
Wow.
Like nuts, dude.
That means fire sale. Everything must go to reset.
Exactly.
You got to get rid of everything. Defund the police, defund the government, defund everything, because you're going into a one world government, and it's going to have its own police system, and you are going to be part of its social credit system, and you will not be able to buy or sell without the mark.
Yep. That's why the next thing you mentioned is economic reset.
Yep.
It's just nuts. And then right at the bottom of that, the fate of the US dollar. It's like,
yep.
I think I know where that's going. You're smarter than I. SOCIETAL. What is
Societal.
that? Societal. Okay, nice. I'm retarded, but
no, there's societal reset. They're going
Yeah.
to reset the way we live in our society and the way we look at things and the way we bring our children up into this society. It's a complete and total fire sale from top to bottom.
check it out. You got inequalities, social unrest, the return of big government. Didn't know there was a big government before, but it's coming back. Leads more allusion to the old world, but whatever.
The social contract.
Exactly, the social contract.
You know what a contract is? That's
No, that's not a contact. That's a contract.
It's a contract. Yep.
ERACT. Yeah. I'm not signing that. But
Contracting is admiralty law, and that's what it's all about. You sign that contract with the devil. He contracts with everything. The last thing you want to do is contract with these people. You stay away from that. Run the other way.
Exactly. It's just nuts. Where is it? Yeah, I just want to show that 6G stuff again, but it's just crazy. 5G, I guess they're done with it. I don't know, but we got 6G all over the place here. And I was looking up, what did I look up? Yes, I looked up the IEEE communications titled Towards 6G Network. And this is what I got here. Let me get the picture bigger. Look at that. That's your 5G, 6G rollout. Like I was explaining before, 5G is going to be the introduction to the hive mind. 6G will effectively connect everything from the med field, cars, VR, everything. That'll be the connector. 5G is the hive mind. 6G will be the overlay or the completion. You know what I'm saying? That's what I got out of this. And then it goes on to fucking so many other just bizarre things, from cell tower to VR, and like solar, I guess, is going to be part of this, which is why solar stocks are going absolute bullshit right now. It's crazy. I just think it's absolutely crazy. And I was just reading some of this, but the more you read this, the more allusion you got to the year 2030, and just rings the old bell of Agenda 2030. You know, people think that's just a made up thing. Yet, United Nations, right there, Agenda 2030. Read all about it, people. Not something that Jen made up, Bobby made up. And look at all these things. Exactly. Focusing on works towards 2030, leadership, business, communications. Got an awkward feeling I know what's under there. Finance, blockchain, universal values. Probably none, but yet here we are. 2030 agenda. Look at it. It's all, they have pages, people. They have pages. And what was I? I was on that 6 Genesis website the other day, and they have 11 white pages on their main website. The first link, white pages. It's like they want you to see what they're doing. I just think that's awkwardly. It's brilliant in a way, you know, because first of all, it lets them off the hook in the greater scheme. You know, if they were going to take this to court, they'd win because we told them. We told the stupid son bitches, but they didn't listen. You know what I'm saying?
They didn't listen because Facebook said it was fake news or something.
Exactly.
They create confusion. This is a order out of chaos.
Exactly. One out of many.
Exactly, dude. And they're using the media and social platforms to do it because that's what everybody's tuned into. And it's amazing to me how structured it is. They have people at every level. I mean, they're set. The parameters are set. They got all their people in place, and they're about to checkmate us, guys.
Yeah. It sucks, dude. It sucks. Like they told us that we were nothing but pawns, but in reality, you know, we're kings and queens, you know, and they've gotten rid of the whole board.
We're not the debtors. We're the creditors.
Yeah, the debtors. I still can't believe that changed, dude. Like, funny. I was just talking to Brian before I went live, and I think me and him are going to do a show in a little bit, probably one of my next couple days off. But there's all the stuff that changed like last year, and then here we are this year, and stuff is still changing, but it's changing like relevantly. Like when the CDC changed, and then Johns Hopkins. What? I'm like, why is this changing accordingly to reality? Like in a real world, like shit like Berenstain Bear should have kept changing, or Mickey Mouse, or what the fuck ever, you know? But it was stuff that was in the media and no one saw it.
Yeah. Maybe it's showing people that it's a continuous lie. That's why it continually changes.
I think maybe we changed it. I don't know. Maybe our greater conscious changed it, you know? I don't know.
To the S?
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
I always thought it was John Hopkins, but I hear everybody pronouncing it like when I hear people in, say, a documentary or something, they say Johns Hopkins.
Yeah, they took the S from that and they put it on the. They put it on the.
It's not a big one for me.
Huh?
It's not a big one for me. It's not like I get just whatever. But for some people, it is a really big one. You know, now
the only reason it is for me is because for all like when I was a kid, I would always like watch March Madness growing up, and one of the arenas was the Johns Hopkins arena. You know what I'm saying? Like it was mentioned probably 8 times a year, and it would, you know, the big games, money game. You know? It's just crazy. It's just crazy how little things like that change, but it was so relevant to what's happening. And the more I look at the map, the more things are changing down in the Caribbean. Look at Jamaica. Like what? And then apparently the Bahamas are north of Florida almost. What? Yeah,
that's crazy. That's definitely moved.
Blows my mind, you know. And it talks about in the Bible how, you know, islands will be, you know, will be shifted and mountains missing, and I don't know. What did you send me a couple weeks ago? You sent me the horizon there in
California.
and there was no mountains.
There's no mountains. That's from the movie San
Oh,
Andreas with the rock.
I thought it was like something like I thought it was a new shift. I'm like, don't tell
No,
me like
it's
there
San
was
Andreas movie. I watched it the other day with my husband. He's like, "What can we watch? What And he's like, "Let's just go big blockbuster," And I'm like, "I don't even think I saw the San Andreas movie, and it sucked, by the way."
I haven't seen it yet. That's with Dwayne the Rock,
They're
right?
coming in on the helicopter into the LA area, and they're panning right past the Hollywood sign, and you can see the Hollywood sign kind of swaying because of this massive earthquake, and it starts to fall. And there it is. There's no fucking mountain behind there for a very long distance.
That's nuts,
It's just
dude.
open over the other side of that.
Yeah, apparently you can go skiing in LA now. That's nuts.
Yeah, that's insane, dude.
Like literally, that's when you sent that to me. Like, you know how movies flip flop sometimes. I was like, "There's no way the mountains flip flopped." I almost like booked a flight out to LA just to see that. I thought the mountains flip flop back to regular. I was like, "Oh, so I guess the farm's open because there was a mountain there last week."
Okay, so listen, if you want to switch gears real quick, I have a video that I wasn't able to play on my live stream yesterday because guess what? It sucked. It just skipped all over the place. But my show yesterday was about pockets of survival. And this guy goes hiking up to this spot in Georgia, which is the country Georgia. This whole side of a mountain is this huge pocket of survival where you can see windows and doors and all this stuff like that. And it's all interconnected as well. It's all vitrified. But the cover story is like back in the 15th century or something, these monks carved out this cave system as a safe haven refuge. And they made a church up in there and all this stuff, the cover story. But clearly, as you will see, that the way it's even positioned on the side of the face of the mountain, that the rest of the mountain would have looked like this as well. This is just a pocket of survival, but it's a massive pocket of survival. And I think it'll be a lot of fun to check out if you want. It's only like about 6 minutes long.
Yeah, send it my way.
All right, I just sent it to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was really bummed that I couldn't get that to work, but I showed pictures of it, and we went through and I zoomed in on all the pictures and stuff. You could see the heating of the rock, the scorching, the melting. You could see the brickwork. You could see the brickwork that changed in shape along the way before it got to the melted wall itself. The monks didn't carve this fucking shit, okay?
Yeah, I love when they say shit like that. I'm like, oh, for real?
Yeah.
I'm glad they had that capability back in the year like 16, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, we know that timeline's all muffed up. I'm going to get some more coffee while you get that ready.
Do your thing. Do your thing. All right. All right. Boom.
It's funny to have cover stories for all this stuff. All the history. You can zoom up a little bit on it, like maybe 2-3 minutes in.
Oops, hold on.
And he'll tell you all about the cover story and everything.
He's all about the cover story.
Yeah. Okay, so just a little bit here. If you scroll up just a little, you'll see him walking up towards a mountain.
Should I fast forward a little more?
Yeah, just a little more.
You're saying scroll up. It got me confused.
Yeah, sorry. All right, a little bit more. A little bit more. Right, back up a little. Back up a little. A little bit more. There you go.
That is the ticket office right there.
Can you hear that, or should I turn it up?
$2.50.
You can turn it up.
And those are the caves. Long drive, longer than I expected. The reason is when I looked on the Google Maps, then it showed 74
Look at
or
that.
76
Just pause it for a second.
Damn.
Is that not insane? And look at how far it goes. It goes way down past his head on the left-hand side. You can see, and they walk in here, okay? It's all interconnected. Like we said in the documentary, these buildings were massive and they were interconnected within. That's why people are always coming across these ancient mines and all this stuff, these tunnel systems. They're all parts of these buildings. But this here's a huge pocket of survival, and they have a whole cover story for it. Go ahead.
This guy, I'm about to say, he sounds like he probably doesn't have any idea what he's actually looking at, right?
No, he has no idea. But
No,
the fact that he tells the cover story and he walks in there and he's not a professional, it's like, you get to see stuff that a regular person would be able to look around at instead of just the official documentary.
Right. So that's cool. Yeah. As I say, he just gives off that like independent fact checker vibe, but that's okay.
Kilometers to Varja Cave. However, it turns out the Varja Cave was a hotel called Varja Cave. And the actual caves were another 30 kilometers past that town that hotel was in. And so
He's got smoked.
Drive, very surreal landscapes getting here. You can see all the caves in the rocks. Looking forward to getting up there and checking them out. And so a bit of a hike up the hill here.
All melted.
Getting close.
Gotta add.
Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN
Fucking
Plus.
ad, man.
Gotta love verified channels.
And
Here
so
we
this is
go.
definitely reminding me a lot of Cappadocia.
Pay attention to the outside
similar
structure. You can
landscapes.
see the
And then
meltification
also
all
the
over the place.
Rock-cut
It's not
caves
carved.
into the cliffs.
Wow.
Pockets
Where's
of
this going?
survival.
All right, here we go.
And then they get repurposed once people find them. This is inside the buildings, guys.
For a good reason too. They don't want the real
Mark.
story.
Carved out by humans.
Yeah, carved out by humans.
Like an altar, maybe? Or I
No,
don't know.
it was liquid. You could see it's melted on top.
And so
Jesus.
the history of this place, in a nutshell. First, there's evidence of people being here in the Bronze Age, thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
But the caves
Look at that rock right
were
there.
carved.
The caves.
Those
The
arches.
caves. Right.
So,
They're fucking melted.
I got
That
a front,
one in the
I got a
lower
front
right-
door right here and a couple windows. The caves. Give me a
Okay, so
break.
check it out.
Cave.
The lower left-hand corner, that arch by the grass, closed up. No, on the right. Go over to the right in the grass. There you go. That
To the
closed up
left.
on itself. That was another arch opening, just like the one above it. But sometimes they close up on themselves. That's why some of these doorways are really warped out because they start melting over. If you go up to those three arches up top, you could see the melt over starting to happen on those arches, the three
Yeah.
up top. You could see it starting to come down, but it hadn't closed on itself. The heat was taken away. But this whole thing is melted. You can see it everywhere.
Like, look at the perfection of a circle of the hole here in the cave. You know, he's got to replace that word cave with like some dude's house or whatever.
Exactly.
It's like that's crazy.
1100s, more than 800 years ago, and then carved over the following century or so.
Yeah, I bet.
And it was a monastery. And so this
Or
whole
park.
series of caves was a monastery complex.
Monks did this, guys. Monks.
You could see how it just fell right there.
Exactly, dude.
Like a
Here we get inside.
waterfall.
We see the shit inside, dude. See that black stuff on that stone right there? That's that melty, drippy stuff you see
Basically,
everywhere.
the invasion of the Ottomans in
It's
the
like scorched.
16th century, who took over this area and forced them out. And then it was abandoned at that point. And
Then what?
Look at it. It's a melted building. It started melting over on the side there.
wow, it's just like Cappadocia. Right now, I'm standing in a.
And that is an important
little
fact.
cave.
These look exactly like
The,
Cappadocia and
glue,
something that's
how
over in
they
Iran.
actually carved out.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say if you could get inside to those the Sodom and Gomorrah X Factor buildings there, they would probably look similar to this. But I mean, all of those windows are hundreds of feet off the ground for some unknown reason, but whatever.
This
This is vitrification. This is not pick marks.
No.
Little window in it. A couple of them in the big window. And then
I mean, like a couple of them could have been after, like the drawings on the wall and shit, but it definitely after event, after the X Factor.
They made part of it a church and put tiles in and stuff. But
Right.
Like in Iran, they have houses just like this. The building looks identical, but it's on the ground. It's not up the side of a mountain. And they repurposed it, refurbished it, and made homes out of them because they were homes.
Which they then carved out further.
Nothing to see here.
Look at that, melted.
But that's the Aga Bashan's bed right there. That's nice.
Melted, vitrified, scorched.
But the rock must be
Beat,
kind of
dude.
relatively soft, I guess, to be able to pick away at it. And this is a massive room here.
There's a toilet. That's nuts. Yep.
And then it goes
That's
back
the closet.
in there. I wonder if you can get up there through here. Let's see.
Nope, it's just a random room. Carved out, yeah.
Get in
Yep.
here.
The walls came in.
So there would have been a ladder right
Look at the floor. The floor is melted.
Look at the
It's
wall.
Up to that.
It looks like a hardened up
Like a
putty.
loft, kind of.
Exactly. And it's probably still smooth to touch. That's the funny thing.
Cool.
Yeah.
If it was thousands of years of erosion
There's
and
no way they carved that
jagged,
out. I mean, so stop right there. Go back just a tiny bit. I want to show you something. Right as these pad into the doorway, stop. Now, if you see on that doorway on the right-hand side where it started to melt over itself, it starts that layer over the one part. Yeah, right there. And down here on the left, you can see the melt starting to come over that left-hand side part too, near the black wire on the bottom. Yeah, it's overlapping itself. It's starting to melt over itself like a rock curtain.
yeah, a molten rock curtain.
And then it's solidified and hardened.
This double bed.
Quartz melted.
It's like it's a hotel commercial. A nice bed for him and her.
But look at the damage on that rock there. That's even worse melted right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say visually to me, it looks like this was an event or whatever happened from the outside. You know, I think
it went all up through the buildings because it was underneath the buildings. The motherboard, anything that was above the motherboard, the heat came up from the bottom and went right up through the buildings, and sometimes arched over and went from the top down on some parts.
Right. I can see that.
It's like an arcing or something. Look at the floors. It's unbelievable. There's a nice, stop right there. Nice archway that was left over. A lot of the black scorching and drippy runniness coming down the walls. You see that everywhere on everything, especially when I do my Lake Tahoe and Lake Powell video. I can't wait to do that. You see this black drippy stuff everywhere.
Wow. That's not. No big deal.
Yeah. No, they carved this. Don't you know? That's all heat damage. It expanded. Look, you see how it came up the wall? Stop. See how the wall is half black and half normal? It came up from the floor up to that point in the walls. I was showing this yesterday in my live stream. We were looking at tunnels and supposed old abandoned mines and stuff. They were most of them were from the floor up, halfway up like that, to where right before the arch starts on the ceiling, blackened like that, or disformed or discolored with a straight. I mean, it's even across. You can see it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's crazy.
Old world.
just came right down the edge there. Look at that.
Yep.
Really just
And
fell off.
If the heat would have kept going, that mountain would have went down on itself and curtained over that stuff. We would have never even seen it.
Oh yeah, that would have just flowed right down into the river. Those have got to be toilets, dude. There's been like 10 of them. They got it. They got to be, dude. Like you just do your business, you know. And I bet there was like a little hole in there, and it all just went down to the plumbing system. I bet.
It's hard to say. Hard to say what it is. I don't know.
I mean, multiple rooms have had them. I don't
Yeah.
know. An old world toilet. I mean, who's to say that there's not like, you know, down here there's a little hole that just didn't get, you know, just.
It could have been for
plugged
docking
up.
your airboat outside your house because they seem to be near the window parts. I don't know. I'm just
True.
saying.
True. Hook it in, you know, like a big, like when you're, you know, you're
Like
putting
docking
down
a
a
boat.
railroad track, the big
Yeah.
spike.
Yeah, or a railroad tie or a boat dock.
Yeah,
thing.
you put that down. You just tie the edge around, or like a, you know, like you're docking a boat. You just tie it up, the rope.
Mhm. Scorching.
Oh, completely just annihilated.
Yep, melted. Everywhere melted. It's just all crazy. Like
Thousands of rooms.
Look at that right there. If you go back a tiny bit, right when keep going, a little bit more, right there. See the waviness of the
Yep,
arch?
yep.
It started coming down on itself. That was an arch like the other arches we just passed, but this guy started warping out and coming down over itself. And even into the interior of the room, you can see it started coming down on itself. This pressures of as it's melting. If you watch a candle melt or ice cream melt, you know, I mean, it's the same thing.
That's crazy.
Yep. I so wanted to show this video last night. And I said, well, I'll save it next time I'm with Steve. Look at this door. Look at this thing.
That's nice. Yeah. Does that really just have like angels holding an obelisk? Like that's nice.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, that's nice. That's real holy. That sure doesn't look like Jesus, but that's okay.
Yeah, man. I saw that. I was like, oh, that's creepy.
That's okay, I guess. Old world.
Melted. Everything's
Right.
melted. Look at this.
This guy thinks he's at some church.
This isn't chiseled out, guys. This is meltification. Pockets of survival. Meltification. Pockets of survival. Meltification. It's everywhere. It's scorched up everywhere.
That looked Rosicrucian. That's nuts.
Red brick carries electricity. Everything was red brick. And parts of these buildings had the surge, if you will, from the motherboard come up through them. And then they got scorched out. It arced. Imagine your light bulb arcs out and breaks.
That's fucked up.
See, it's all interconnected. And this is what we said in the documentary. These buildings are massive. He's only in one little fucking section. This is a huge mountain range, okay? Everything was interconnected. That's why they find tunnels and passageways everywhere, all over Europe, everything, because they're going through melted buildings. Look at this room. This is a good pocket of survival. They supposedly had turned it into a church or something.
Yeah, right. It sort of looks like the paintings got blown away too. Some of them. Wow, that's still nuts. Thought that was a guillotine. I was like, this is nuts. I was like, where the fuck is this? So I don't stumble upon this place by accident.
All right, so just pause it here.
It's a lot
Or
more.
wait, he swings back around. Well, you can even leave it
Sensitive
right there.
than
But see that stuff right there in the distance? Okay, so here you can see really good pocket of survival inside and out. Those archways there are original. And then when you move over to the left, you could see there's more damage coming down that side there. Like, why would these guys have chiseled out these half little square wall, windows and stuff, and barely any room in there to even do anything? Because it's all melted down on itself. It hasn't been carved by anybody. Nobody would even do that. Why would you waste your time?
Right. It'd be almost impossible too.
So he walks all up in here. It's really cool.
It's a lot more extensive than I expected.
Yep, you can see how the meltification went down the side there.
Cave complex with the amazing church there.
It's amazing, guys. Look at that. You can really see the damage there.
What a trip.
It's all melted.
Wow.
All right, so I don't know where he is here. I think he's going to a restaurant. I think he's done.
Yeah, it looks like a temple, but same thing.
So, yeah, I really wanted to show that. That's fucking some crazy stuff.
Gold.
Thank you for showing it.
Yeah, no problem. I'm hip with all that. So yeah, it's just interesting, dude. That's crazy. Yeah, underground heating gone bad. I don't know if you call it that, but something went wrong.
Yeah. So I just sent you another little site that has pictures on it of really good stuff we can zoom in on, without just watching this guy's video. But it's more parts to this area here in Georgia, plus what we just saw. And I was showing this on my.
We're
stream.
talking the country, Georgia, right?
Yes, the country, Georgia. And I mentioned that a few times in the video because apparently a lot of people don't know Georgia's a country. So this is really good. This is all melted and it's all got passageways under it and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah, you can just see it everywhere.
That's crazy.
Drippiness. If you zoom in a little bit more, you can see the drippy black stuff right there. You can see it. Stuff's everywhere. I have a theory about it.
And what would that be?
Stairways.
Oh, what's your theory? Don't just leave us hanging.
I'm still working on it. It's just a theory right now. I've been trying to figure out what this black stuff is because it's everywhere. It has to do with the roofing, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, possibly. That's not bad.
And that's what we were just at. You can zoom in on that if you want, but you can see the layer above, that clear line of delineation between the black above and these supposed caves. This is a major pocket of survival. This whole mountain looked like this. We can't even imagine how amazing it must have looked. This is actually ruined is what it is at this point. But you can see the clear line of delineation from where the heat came up and came back down. And we just got lucky with a pocket of survival here. But this is some massive complex and it's all interconnected. The whole thing was. All these buildings were.
Wow. That's crazy. Looking at it from a distance, wow.
And that's just a sliver of it. It goes all the way to the end.
You don't even have to know what you're looking at to understand that this is a hotel or a building or whatever, that's nuts, dude. That's nuts.
Agreed.
Wow. That's crazy.
And so here you could see that one column on the left, on the left where it started to melt down on itself and collapse. But again, he just walked through this whole place. I pay attention to the floor. You can see the floor's warped out and started flowing over itself.
Layers.
You can start to see the deformity within the steps and the archways. You can see the heat coming up from the bottom, the scorch marks and stuff.
Yep. This was probably a full archway. Look at that. We're shutting the windows.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's nuts.
On itself.
Nuts. What are we looking at here?
That's just the
Starfort
that it's in. It's kind of like a tourist site. So just click past this one. All right, there's where we just were with that guy, but we can zoom in. You can see the original rock formation there. And then you can see where it transformed and became viscous and stuff. That's original. And then as you move over, it gets larger in blocks, more heat expansion. And as you move over more, it's totally melted.
That's nuts.
But it all was like that. Those smaller blocks, which are actually bricks. Oops. I don't know, kitty.
I'm just like
Black
what?
drippy stuff on that too. You can see it coming
No.
down.
Yeah, these are bells here.
Yeah, there's something. I think that's where the
Just-
truth is. That part.
Yeah, it's strange. Like, let's put bells in this old place that got decimated for probably doing something that wasn't against or was against the will of the Almighty. But what is this? A castle? What is going on here?
Yeah. So again, this is just a site where they do weddings and stuff, but it was all red brick. It expanded out. The color got cooked out, but it solidified. Here is another pocket of survival. What you're seeing there, and on the next picture that you show, is the top part of the building that's left. Click again. Click again. Yeah, there's a good one. You have pockets of survival, and then even that building on the top is all melted building. If you can zoom in anymore, you can see windows and doors off to the left there. Yeah, that big mound in the background is one huge building. And then you have the pocket of survival, which is this wall, which was all red brick. You can see the discoloration where it's white and then it's reddish and then it's white. The heat went up it in various ways, kind of like a lightning bolt branches out and stuff. You got to think of a motherboard frying and arcing and stuff. And the red brick conducts the electricity. That's a fact. We can get into that later if you want. And so that building on top is a massive building there. Like I said, you can see a couple of windows and doorways up top. And then as you go down past the wall, scroll up a little and you go lower, you can see more of the formation below it that's part of it as well.
Oh,
There might be one more picture.
I don't know how to get back to them.
Click on the ones right there. Yeah, they'll take you through. Stop, my kitty is attacking me. That right there, if you can zoom in on that, this whole thing was a building. This is just a pocket of survival. Everything you see in the background was part of it as well. It's just like what we just saw over on that mountain. It's identical. These people had windows, doors, archways, stairways, columns. They had hallways. And this is what we're seeing here. This is actually a tourist place. You can come here and spend the night. But even if you zoom in a little more, you can see columns and an A-frame right there with an arch. Yeah, nobody carved this shit out. It's melted.
Yeah, it's nuts. That's nuts. But
there was another good one. Go back one or two. Go back one more. Right there. Yeah. Go back to that little green mountain there. One more. That one. Zoom in on that. This whole mountain, this is the tops of the buildings you're seeing. These are pockets of survival. The heat came up from the bottom, melted everything, but that's still sticking out. That's a pocket of survival up there, which would be the very tops of the buildings.
That's intense.
Yeah. And then you look at the background even. I mean,
Right.
what the place must have looked like, dude.
That's crazy. That's nuts.
Yep.
Like you're right there. That's nuts.
They want us to believe that these things pushed up from the ground when actually they were already up and melted down to the ground. That's why everything has a look to it like it's melting downward. But they want us to believe that everything pushed upward. That's not true.
It's awkwardly looks like
always the opposite. If they tell you tectonic plates exist and they push up and create mountains, then it's the complete opposite, obviously. Just like space. It's just some place in town you can eat, I guess, or something. Go one more. That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
I love these pictures.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Well, mountains were buildings, from what I can tell, for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, I've just showed a bunch of pockets of survival. Now, I have one more really intriguing one that I want to show you that is undeniable. I mean, it's just unfucking deniable. It's not that video that I made recently, neither. Let me get the link up here. You guys are going to shit yourself when you see this. Find it. That lake. Okay, it's not that one. Oh, here it is. Okay. Oh, we're going to go here, Steve. You're going to love this. This is without a doubt a melted fucking building. It's identical to the mountain we just saw and the other thing we were just looking at on that other website. But this is in, I want to say it's in Iran or Turkey. It'll show up on there. You can see what it says, but it's clearly a melted fucking building from top to bottom, and people are using it. The pockets of survival that are there, they're utilizing them. They're refurbishing them and they're using them.
All right, let's see what we got here.
Look at this, guys. Yeah, we got to zoom on that sucker. That shit is a melted fucking building, without a doubt.
Wow.
Yeah. Look at all those pockets of survival, guys.
They've even built into them.
Yep.
Wow. You have this random little like tower here. That's nuts.
You can see how it melted down off to the side there, started drizzling out towards the right and stuff. You can see archways, doorways, columns, windows everywhere. You can see the meltification of the stone.
I mean, for me, if I see a set of stairs on a mountain, I'm sold. That's it. You know?
Wait to see the other side of this thing. It's fucking crazy.
Because like I was driving the other day up on Route 20 in Massachusetts, for anyone knows where that is, and there's this fucking state park in the middle of Chester, and I'm driving by and I look and I'm just like, why are there like dusty, probably brick stairs built into the side of this mountain that, you know, I didn't see how far up they led because I was going like 50 miles an hour, but I was like,
survival.
I was like, no.
Yeah,
and it was literally probably 5 miles away from the archways that I recorded that one time.
Mm-hmm.
It's
coming
not
up on random walls and shit, right angles of fucking stonework, and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I gotta get back out there.
Now you got to zoom in on this picture.
Look at that.
That's a melted fucking building, guys. Pockets of survival all over the top of it.
That's crazy.
They didn't just climb up there and fucking start carving that shit out, carve a little window, and then decide, oh, I'm done carving here. I'm going to go down here and carve now. You could see it starting to melt over on itself up top.
You know what's funny? People are so like just deeply deceived that they would look at this and be like, you know what? Aliens, because they were hovering up here. And that would be it. That sells enough people. That's crazy.
Yeah. If you follow
look
the
at
wall
these little
down,
look at this little
yes.
shindig just sticking out of the ground. No big deal.
And as you go up a little bit, you'll see on the indentations on the wall coming down from the upper part, heading downward, you'll see square indentations. They were rooms that closed up on themselves. You see them there? The like rectangular indentations into the wall?
I think so.
One. Yeah, just down from those windows slanted down is a big rectangular indentation. And then there's one down the lower middle right side over just to the right a little. That one there.
Yeah, I was just highlighting.
And then up to the left in the lighter area is another one. So these are rooms that melted down and closed up over themselves.
Oh, yeah, like here and there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if you follow it down the other side, you can see more pockets of like just muffed up looking shit coming from the right-hand side.
I didn't even know those were. I just looked at those and thought those were like just really shallow rooms. But now I see what you're saying. Yeah. All right. Well, I was sold anyways. All right. That giant mountain. Like, what the fuck could that have been, dude? That would be nuts. Mount Everest, just nuts. Come on. How do I get out of here? Oh.
I think that's it. But yeah, I wanted to really show those because they were just blew my mind when I came across them. I was like, holy fucking shit. This is not like, I can't even believe this exists.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Where was that again? Turkey?
I think so. We were in Turkey and Iran, those two places. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on.
Old stuff out there, you know? Old stuff. That's crazy. That's crazy, dude. Like, it just kind of blows.
Crazy? I'll blow your mind right fucking now, Steve. You know that thing in the Grand Canyon that they talk about? That,
I don't know.
You know, the entranceway to giants lived there. You know, there was a cave entrance and they went in and found all these weapons and stuff that branched out in all these different directions. Everybody knows the story about the Grand Canyon.
Is that where they found the quote unquote Egyptian petroglyphs?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I didn't
it's
know
not-
about the weapons part, but yeah, I heard.
It's not
I heard
that cave. Okay, so everybody knows about that entranceway. These people found something else,
What do you
and they're
mean?
saying it's 400 years old. Perfect brickwork in this place. Wait till you read it. I'm gonna let you check it out. I just sent it to you. You show pictures and everything. It's from 2009. This article too.
I saw that on top. I was like, oh, 09. I was living the life back in 09.
So here's an aerial shot looking down at the area where they were hiking and went in, and I'll let you if you want to read it from there because it's really small on my end. 400-year-old underground tunnel.
Oh, it must be real. It's a NASA image. I'm just fucking with you. We got a group of hikers who have been exploring a virtually untouched area of the Grand Canyon happened to come upon an opening, I should say, in the side of the Grand Canyon wall last July. So like 11 Julys ago. Peter Marlington and his friends had discovered the entrance to an underground complex that had been estimated to be over 400 years old and built in the late 1500s. Skeptical
Where do
on
you
that.
see the pockets of survival inside this fucking thing? It was not done in the 15 fucking hundreds. Okay, it looks like it was done yesterday.
Right. Who we got here? It was hot as hell out, and we were hiking up the side of the cliff to get into a wooded area for the shade. Yeah, he explained. When we reached the shrub line, we felt a cool breeze coming from the high weeds that were growing on the side of the cliff. It seemed very odd that a cool breeze would be coming from nowhere like that, so we poked around to see why. And let's see what they found. Nice. See, that's effed up, bro. That's effed up because, like, that creepy ass tunnel where I've had my experiences in a negative way. Yo, like the illest breeze comes out of that tunnel. The illest breeze. And I have a funny feeling that they didn't build that tunnel in the 1892 or whatever.
Yeah, Aurora.
I have a feeling they refurbished it as a tunnel. I have a feeling it was there before something like this. And yo, the cold air that comes out of there is just effed. You know,
Yeah.
I'm surprised these people didn't have a paranormal experience. You know what I'm saying?
You can see the meltification of the rocks around it. You can
absolutely.
see how it starts shifting. You can see the black drippiness coming
Decimated.
down there. Up in the upper left-hand corner, you can see the layers of melt starting to come over itself in the upper left-hand corner. Aurora Dawn said, Jen, if the heat didn't come from the ground up. I never said it didn't come from the ground up. I'm saying it did come from the ground up. And clearly there you can see the dark and scorched. If you scroll up just a little, Steve, back to that picture. See how it's dark down the bottom? And then it gets lighter up top, the melting.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
blacker down the bottom. That. It came from the ground up. Those rocks on the bottom are more distorted and melted out weird than the top part is. The top part melted over itself, started dripping down. But the heat most likely comes from the bottom on most of this X Factor event.
Right. Absolutely.
It's a really interesting article. All right. So here we are in these tunnels that they found. The heat came from the bottom and went up that wall and stopped before it got to the red brick in the top part of the archway. That whole room was red brick. You could see the scorching. You could see the color cooked out of the brick. It's uniform throughout. Even down that next hallway, you can see it comes up to a point. This is how you tell that it came from the bottom up.
Yeah, and it was hot enough to start making some of that mortar drip, but that's nuts.
The other wall cave right there was all red brick. It started getting the color cooked out of it. You can see some of the red left in the bricks, but clearly you can see it came from the floor up and started melting the floor and the walls.
Oh, like, yeah. Right, I was gonna mention the floor is decimated, you know.
Yeah. And
the
down
floor is completely
the lower picture.
Get down there.
See how the heat came up from the bottom on the lower picture there and came up around that archway, but the red brick survived around that one part of the arch. The mortar snot started coming out of the brickwork and dripping down over it. That's what that white stuff is. The mortar is white. So you have that little pocket of survival there over the archway where you can still see that it was all red brick.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just incredible.
Yeah. So this is from the X Factor event, guys. This is part of the building, and read this part here. What they found.
Where do I start?
It says something about the floor looks like it collapsed, and you can see other tunnels, and that's what that picture below is. And you can see when you zoom into that picture that it was red brick as well.
All right, so the other guys were kind of scared. I admit it was getting creepy graveyard feeling. That's what I'm saying, bro. Yo,
Yeah.
like I wrote this article. Great.
You gotta read the whole article when we get off air and check it out, though. For
It's
yourself.
not. Fuck, where was I? The National Reporter. What did he say? I know exactly what you mean. Blah blah blah. I went down by myself. The other guys were too scared. Literally me. Took a few minutes to get down the collapsed floor where the tunnels were. It was pretty dangerous because the mortar was all crumbled and powdery and the bricks were loose. Wonder why? I figured
bricks right there, even it's bricks throughout this because everything was red brick, guys.
That's nuts. I figured that was why the floor had collapsed. I had entered the tunnel on the far left and walked about 50 feet, and then it stopped at a brick wall. There was a loose brick in it, so I pushed it and jiggled around until it fell into the room on the other side. Nuts. Grand Canyon, no big deal. Bet you can't go there today.
Well, wait till you see this next picture. You got to read the caption before you get to the picture.
Okay. We'll read the caption first.
Read that paragraph above the picture first.
I took the photograph. Hold on. Took the photograph from him. To tell you the truth, I was speechless by what I saw. I could understand what Peter Marlington meant when he said there is something weird going on back then. No crap. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're starting to figure out that, this is not from 1500s or whatever. This is something else.
What else did he say? I won't say any more. I will just present the readers, blah, blah, blah. So let's ponder. That's what I'm saying, bro.
Right?
That's what I'm saying, yo. That's nuts.
Some kind of mechanical mechanism.
That's nuts. Damn. Gosh darn. What is that?
And look what it says underneath the picture.
Yeah, right. No.
400-year-old technology. It might be 400 years old. The X Factor could have happened within the last 250 to 500 years, or maybe even the last 1,000 years. I don't know how long these buildings. Say,
if this is the Grand Canyon, I think there were different X Factors probably. The American X Factor was probably more than 500, probably 1,000 or more years ago, because the Indians, they've been here forever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But before they were here, that's probably when the X Factor event happened or whatever, then they came out of the tunnels with the Ant-Man. I don't know. Cause that story is interesting. If you ever look into the Ant-Man or Ant-Man.
I was talking about that, how the Hopi and all talk about how they emerged out from under the earth, that these beings took them down while whatever took place. And then they came out later, like a generation or two later. They were down there for a while before they could come back out when everything was stable again.
Yeah. Well, their story alludes to more of a flood. So I'm thinking if they knew the motherboard was going to fry, they probably would have just moved them somewhere and then brought them back, like not directly them, but a descendant of them. So they'd be like, oh, this is where your grandpa lived. Like, oh, sweet. Something like that, reteach them like they're reteaching everyone now.
Yep.
This is nuts, dude.
I gotta go to the bathroom, Steve. I'll be right back.
You're good. Oh, man, guys. Good show so far. Good show. Oh, it's 8:30. It is sort of getting late, so. But now that I got the chat here, it's, who do we got here? We got Harpo's Man. What up? Def Breed. P's and Q's. What's up? The Roman. Aurora Dawn. Who else is in the chat? Jennifer Kissling. What's up? Karen Ann Preston, what's going on? Suso, what's up, brother? Long time no here. Probably my fault, but it is what it is. Am aware, what's going on? Any word? What's up? What's up, good people in the chat? The real truth. What's up, brother? NH guy, what's going on? What's going on? Bong rip break. There you go. There you go. Light one up. I keep getting phone calls from numbers I don't know. Not a big fan of that. Exactly. Exactly, Death Breed. Exactly. That's in Genesis 6. And ironically, there's a... Let's just bring it up real quick. Keep that in mind, people. Gen 6. Gen 6. Favorite look up 6. Genesis. Boom. Here you go. 6G. 6G. The company is called 6 Genesis. Yeah. Yeah. They got an event on the 30th. Nice. Nice.
All right, I'm back.
Back. She's back, and we're going 6G. I still can't
Oh
believe
my
that.
gosh, what did I miss? 5-3 rolled right over me.
Right. Took a nap. woke up to 6G. That'd be
Shit is
terrifying.
changing so quick. It's exactly like Time Wave Zero and Terrence McKenna. He said when we got down to novelty, which is the time we're in now, the novel coronavirus, everything was going to be spiraling down and winding down so quickly that, every minute of every day shit was going to be changing.
It's just nuts, dude. It's just nuts. It's 2020. I'm like 25. What's going on? What is going on these days? I just don't get it. Like 10 years ago, it wasn't good 10 years ago, but I feel like people had more of a steady head on their shoulders 10 years ago. Yeah, from caves to 6G. Pretty much, dude. Pretty much. Hey, like a pre-existed form of 6G could have been what turned those buildings into mountains or whatever,
Yeah, we don't know.
I wish we knew, because it'd make the next couple of years a lot easier to call out. I feel like none of those books made it, it's just crazy. I bet they did, but they're probably hidden in the Vatican basement with a bunch of 6-finger, 6-toed beings giving them clues and information and whatever, just nuts, dude. It's it's really strange how back in the day and even up now, if there's not a Nephilim sighting, but if you're digging up and you find a 8-foot femur bone, the first people are depending your area, if you're on the west side of the Atlantic or the east side of the Atlantic, the Vatican comes right in. If you're on the west side, Smithsonian's there within a day, within hours. If you're in the United States, cough it right up, give you some money. You didn't find it. That's your story, and you better stick with it. That's what they say. It's crazy. It's crazy. A mass cover up of giants. Wow. That kind of puts the whole mythology thing to bed, because I have a strange thing that mythology was probably reality at one point or another in one way, shape, or form. Maybe the names were a little off, but
like minotaurs and stuff like that. I think they existed.
Cyclopses, yeah.
We see it in the statue work that survived. These creatures that have heads of animals and all this different stuff. I think there was a very wide variety, kind of like if you ever saw Star Wars, the very first or second one, when he goes to that one planet and he's in that bar, and there's all different kind of aliens around him, people with elephant heads and other, what I mean? It was like that. It was like everybody was all among each other for whatever reason. I don't know why it was like that. If they did genetically modifications to people, if you ever saw Eon Flux, I think it is. The lady, the one of the girls in Eon Flux had her feet removed and put hands on her feet. So she had abilities to, grab on the stuff with her feet when she's flying through the air and stuff. Genetic modifications and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, well that's in the days of Noah, so shall it be return of the Son of Man. If they were doing stuff like that back then and wiped them all out, we're slow. I wouldn't even say slowly. I think we're rapidly approaching that time again. The cycle. Like this is man, I can never say it. What's it called? The Ouroboros, the snake eating its own tail.
Yes.
It's coming around to take that bite again. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be full circle as the beginning is the end is the beginning. I never really understood that till I started reading the Bible and read into prophecy. And I was like, so they were really doing bad things back then and they wiped it out, or he wiped it out. What do you think's going to happen if not we, because we're not going to be part of it, but if the general population of the world, which is huge, keeps marching towards this, whether knowing or not knowing?
Oh yeah, we're definitely being steered and led in a certain direction. Somebody asked me yesterday on the live stream, do I think that this is some cyclical thing that happens? I'm not sure about that, because I feel like this civilization was so established and so vast that I don't see how they wouldn't have known about this cyclical nature and would have prepared for it. Clearly, they got caught off guard. It looks like it may have been sabotaged. Who knows? Maybe a higher power fried the grid, or they got into some sort of beef with, say, one of the races of beings or something, and they decided, well, if we can't have it, none of you can, and we're going to fry the fucking whole board.
I feel that that could be a possibility, but I lean more towards the possibility you mentioned there first, because if they turn this place into an electrical grid, pretty much, that left them really vulnerable, and God Almighty, who knows everything, he could probably catch a flaw in the grid, or just, light the torch as he probably did. You know what I'm saying? So now that we're pretty much right back to where we were, look at any major city, it's a grid layout, but the difference is now you have these cell towers up everywhere. And I feel like that could be like not a blinding thing, but like a defense mechanism. So the grid doesn't get fried again, but that's what they think, I don't think that's going to work. I don't think it's going to work, because we win in the end. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. We win in the end, not here.
I think they're fried. The motherboard fried. They had free energy, guys. They had lighting. Everything worked. They didn't have any moving parts, oil, gas, rubber for tires. All didn't have none of that shit. Everything moved and ran and flowed. Once the grid fried, that was over. Whoever was left, they were plunged into darkness. They had no nighttime before. If you go with the theory that the moon was the sun at one point, and the sun that is the moon now today is part of whatever took place during this X Factor event. If it's an electromagnetic frequency that these things are on and the grid fried, there could have been an arcing event that took place with that particular sun that now is like a bulb that fried. Not quite working at full capacity anymore. So now we have a nighttime. So, these people lived in perpetual light and maybe had a twilight time in between the cycles of the two suns going around. Like we have night and day. They had daytime and then twilight and then daytime and then twilight. And it was never quite dark. It was never quite light in these little twilight areas. We call it dusk or dawn, but it was more of a twilight period.
What's interesting about that is the veil is the thinnest at dusk and dawn.
Yeah.
And if you only had that, I could only imagine what was really going on here, because I like that theory that the moon was the sun back in the day, and that could be what caused one of the events, maybe the first big event. I think that's where we get all of the deserts out in the Middle East from. I think the entire desert there was that one event in general, and then you see like the Grand Canyon and other little things here and there, like part of Massachusetts. Go in the mountains over here, you tell me what you find, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I think that those were sub events or events that happened after on a smaller scale that wasn't as devastating, because grass still grows. Look at Afghanistan, all these old, they're just blown out. I feel like that entire area could have been one building, and what people are walking on thinking is sand is just the remnants of what was there. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? You kind of catch that
Absolutely.
drift? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I
absolutely.
think.
I'm feeling it.
That's what I think, dude.
We're lied to on so many levels, we'll never really know, but I can guarantee you one thing: they know. They know all this shit. They've known all this time that this shit is fucking buildings and not mountains. We were taught that they're mountains. We were taught that these are natural cave systems and these are abandoned mines and all this stuff like that. That these people in the Bronze Ages and all this crap with their supposed thinky little tools, it's all a lie. It's a big fucking story. One that they've contrived and put over us and taught us, indoctrinated us into. This is our history. And then there's a geological history, that there's plate tectonics and all that. Most likely volcanoes are left over from the X Factor. I think that they are still molten inside from the heating event that took place, whatever, say within the last 500 to 1,000 years. The immense capacity that these buildings and what was within these buildings, we're operating on a system we can't even conceive. And I think that these volcanic areas have a lot to do with whatever was underground at that particular point in the motherboard that's fried and still is actively hot till this day.
Absolutely. I could see that 100%. I could see that 100%.
Now, about 10 years ago or so, I was doing some research in the oop art and archaeology that nobody touches and stuff. There was this guy who said he was up in the mountains, of course, hiking around looking for some caves and stuff. He came upon a cave. He went to go in and explore it. Now, this is 10 years ago, guys. And I had no idea about melted buildings or anything. But when he was in this cave, he said that he went back as far as he could. And then there was like a little niche in the wall that he could hear something. He put his ear up to it. He thought he heard something. And he figured a way that he could shimmy through this little niche because he could see that it opened up on the other side. He gets himself through there and he finds that, well, first off, there was a dead animal in there, like an animal got stuck in there or something. But there was something inside this mountain, some type of a machine that was running and humming, and he could still hear it. Like maybe a heating and cooling system, maybe some sort of mechanism that helped operate in the building that's still hooked up to the grid and still has some juice flow into it. He never actually saw it, but he was there, and he said he could feel air, like as if a fan was blowing or something. How back then, I could not imagine how a mountain could form around some sort of a massive machine. How could there be a machine inside of a mountain, right? I could never put that together until just now. So shit that I looked up 10 years ago are now finally getting put into my puzzle that has expanded over the years and revised, and you got to look at things differently every time you come upon new information and see how it fits in. And now that fits in because I never knew how it fit in before.
Wow. It's crazy how stuff like that works, like the Father above is showing me so many things like that, like years in advance. And then I come and do research with a free open mind, years later, I'm like, oh, well, maybe that's why I had to, we were watching that because what was it? Sandy Hook, I was ironic, I was suspended from school that day, so I just stayed home and I watched it live and I felt no remorse. I felt no emotion. I was like, is it bad I feel that way or is nothing really happening? But me being 14, yeah, but me being 14 years old, I just went to go play Xbox afterwards and it left my mind. And then, like 6-7 years later, I'm doing a little research and then, we go across Dr. Carver and what's his name there? Robbie Parker. And then I'm like, oh, now I'm like, was someone trying to show me something? I was really like stuck on that for a little while. I was like, why did I happen to get suspended on that specific day? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it was just really, really weird, really, really weird. But here I am now. It's a hoax. It's all a hoax. If part of it's a lie, people, it's all
of it.
Yeah.
All a lie.
I throw it out. I don't believe anything off grip anymore, Yeah. You could tell me anything. I'd be like, yeah, probably fake news. And unless I see it like you did with Beirut. You were like, yeah, no. But, didn't bite you in the ass. It's just, you know, we've gone through so much, you know, fakery and deception and lies through the media and government over the last, you know, how many years. It's just
It's overwhelming.
yeah, you know, so like whenever anyone tells me a story, I'm just like, yeah, okay, like, yeah. Let me wipe my ass first before I look at that. You know, it's crazy. And then I love people showing me stuff I looked at 10 years ago too. I'm just like, yo, like, wake up, yo. I'm like, I looked at that when I was 15 by accident. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, you're 35 years old. I'm like, you don't have a grip on this yet? Like, that's all I ask for people, because I wasn't like the brightest kid in school. I'm definitely not the brightest bulb out there. I'll be the first to admit that. Just keep up with me. Just keep up with me and you'll be okay. That's all I've ever told people. And like, wow, if they ever listened, that would have we would not be in this situation right now. Let's put it that way, you know, because
Exactly.
like I said, I don't make the best decisions, but I can sure as hell tell you the right decision. You know, sometimes I don't listen to what the right decision is, and it comes back to bite you. But you know, it's crazy. You know, it's
Absolutely.
crazy the way we are. Here we are, and
then finding out these layers of truth. I mean, when you get on Mandela effect and flat Earth and the shit that's going on with this shit show, right left paradigm
with this
stuff.
shit show, yep.
Yeah, and then you think, what else could they possibly have lied to us about? And I said a while back, I said in one of our live streams, I said, we've been deceived on levels we have not even conceived of yet. I said that like 6 months ago. And then here we are now looking at a level of deception that we have had over us that we could have never possibly have conceived of before. But here it is right in our faces, just like flat Earth was for the last 47 years of my life. And I couldn't see it because I was under a spell, a perception deception that they created the minute I was born. I was taught lies. I've never had an original thought in my life until just recently. And I'm okay with that. I can admit that. You have to admit that and get past it.
Oh, Jesus. Just had some spit go down the wrong hole or something.
Oh, yummy.
Oh, good. Yeah. Coughing my brains out. You'd think I was hitting the pipe. You would think I was hitting the pipe or something. Wow. That brought tears to my eye. Good thing I didn't have the camera on. That would have been a show.
Right.
Oh.
Well, listen, I'm going to get out of here. I got some dishes to do, and I think Suso wants to hook up on his channel or something, so I got to get some stuff done before I do that.
All right, yeah, you do your thing. You do your thing. I was just going to show one more video anyway, so it's all good.
All right.
So,
well, I appreciate you having me on and taking the time to show that stuff for me. If you do watch my live stream, Steve, I got kicked off my own live stream at one point. Didn't know I was kicked off of it. Had to come back and invite myself on, and there was two of me on the screen at one time.
Oh, that happens to me when I lose, because sometimes I'll just lag off. It sucks, but
I was touching on so much real shit that it was almost like StreamYard and Facebook, because Facebook wouldn't load for me. It was like they were working against me so bad. It was horrible. But I got through it, and I showed a lot of stuff, and everybody saw what I was saying. It was just a good, maybe like 5 minutes there where I was talking about the coins, how they have the eye on it, like 1776. It's the year of our Lord. And I went through that whole thing, and nobody heard it because I wasn't even on. But
wow. Dude, I think one time we started talking about the eyes and we started getting beat. That's something they really don't want you to know. Because if you replace 1776 with 776, oh boy, you know, that puts us in the year 1020. So what's up?
We're in 1020, guys. At the very least, we're in 1020. They added 1,000 years, and who the hell know what else? It could have been 15 years after they get done tinkering with the calendars and leap years and all this other fucking bullshit that they have us living by.
That's so crazy. That's the one thing about the whole mud flood, whatever, the situation theory, whatever you want to call it.
X Factor, something like that.
Yeah, whatever. That's the one thing that'll, even if we find out like some whatever, you know, that'll be the one thing that'll always stick in my head. I'm like, did they really just say fuck 1,000 years? Did they really? I'm like, if they did, I mean, you gotta have a sack made of gold to do that. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. I mean, they took a 1 and they took an I and made it a 1. In the year of our Lord 776 became 1,776.
It's laughable. It's
and
so
what they put in those 1,000 years as our supposed fucking history is nothing but fucking made up fairy tale bullshit.
No, it's crazy. It's crazy, and no coincidence that same year, the Bavarian Illuminati formed 1776.
Yeah.
Just saying, I just like to throw that out there. Just or whatever, 776, whatever.
That's what I was saying earlier, though. I think the Dark Ages are when after the meltdown happened, and there was no more free energy, and everything was solidifying and hardening back up. From that point on, there was no more free energy. And then that moon was not a sun anymore. So now we had darkness to deal with. What comes out in the darkness? Predators, fear, all this stuff that people who maybe survived were already traumatized, had never experienced before. I mean, nighttime for us is second nature, but for them, this was not part of their reality. Now they're plunged into darkness. They have no free energy to light the darkness. They have to figure out how to use fire and all this stuff and start educating their young ones who are being born because they're repopulating and trying to put forth, you know what I mean? This is what I'm saying. I think when they refer to dark ages, I think that is that period there. Because, like I said, before that, there was no nighttime.
Imagine that.
I could be wrong, and I'm willing to admit that. But I'm trying to piece it together and logically working this thing, like back engineering the whole thing to where right before the meltdown happened. And it makes sense. If there was another sun, people were larger and stronger and everything grew differently and everything. There's probably all kinds of different species and different beings and stuff like that. And then that got taken away. Well, whatever's left is going to have to overcome and adapt. And that's where you see like these birds that wind up on this one isolated island and they only do one little thing that no other birds in the world do because they're isolated on that. You know what I mean? But for us, for humans, we had to like consciously and kind of like physically overcome this. We don't evolve like animals do. There's a difference. We have a consciousness that evolves. And our consciousness had to evolve into this new reality, but coming from a trauma-based mindset in the beginning. I mean, this is traumatic what took place. Billions of people or beings or whatever they were, trillions probably died.
It's just crazy to think about, We may never know. Maybe we will one day, but it's just nuts, dude. It's just nuts. Like, just the whole people just wiped, Whether it's for the right reasons or the wrong reasons, that's still up for debate, It's just nuts that was a thing, like that still is a thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, people take this stuff so for granted and they have no idea that we are literally walking right into another one.
So
Get
this. You remember that Chinese thing, that building where they lit up the technology on the roof and it lit up and it was like making that harmonic sound?
Yes.
It's in a documentary even as well. If you go back to 2010, 11, 12, even 13, 14 and stuff, where everybody was talking about those sounds that they were hearing in the sky, where it was like tuning a symphony or something, these weird horns going off and stuff. I think there was part of the grid that was either there were people who were trying to hook the grid back up in certain locations, maybe like in the Ukraine and all these other places where they heard these noises, these really strange places and stuff.
What about New York, the Freedom Tower? You don't hear that anymore there, but you did in 2013 and 14,
Yeah. I
think they did it.
Yeah. And maybe it was them getting it running for the underground stuff, but we heard it up here. I think when this free energy was up and running throughout these buildings and stuff, I think that there was this constant harmonic frequency that was big. Free energy is clean and beautiful and meant to be here for us. It's right out of the ether. Tesla told us all about it. And, it takes away everything that we live for and go to work for and everything. We don't need none of that stuff because it's all provided. It's all free. Everything works.
crazy. It's an energetic universe, you know. It's so many things that it's not a whatever you want it to be universe, but I mean, if you have the right tools and the means and the power, you know, you really could. You really could make this whatever you want to be. I mean, they turned it into a grid, you know, maybe the man upstairs didn't like that, or maybe it was sabotage, but you know, there was flaws in that grid, but now they have 5, 6G, Skynet, whatever, you know, what's that Starlink? They have all that up, you know. I think that is going to work hand in hand with it to make it be like a hyperphoric or a hyperboric disc, you know, because there's a flat plane, obviously, but they're just gonna, it's gonna be like, it's gonna gain depth, you know, like they're gonna somehow connect the sky with the ground with the Starlink and the five, but not physically, but like, you know, with like ether and energy.
Yeah,
it's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be one just solid field. Like they're gonna make another dome. Let's put it that way. They're gonna make their own dome. He has to do everything God did. I'm saying, you know, that's what Skynet is and all that shit.
And that show was out under the dome where that random dome appeared over that city. Now, look, if our plane is a motherboard and we're on the planette, the smaller portion of the plane, and our ice wall is the cooling system for our little part of the motherboard, this could be just one major nodal point on a massive motherboard, and there's many other ones as well, which are planettes. There's other planets out there, but they're not in space. They're on the motherboard, and they're planettes, just like our planette, the lesser version of the larger plane, the walled off, domed off little nodal point on that motherboard plane. We don't know how many there are out there. There could be, like, tell us there's millions of stars and planets out in space. It's not in space.
No, it's right there, baby. It's right there. Yo, there's this red star in the sky lately. I've been calling it out. I don't know if that's a good idea or a bad idea. Yeah, it's red. I just call it out. I'm like, don't you look at me like that. I get pissed. I don't like it. I don't like that, yo. I don't like that shit. It's like blinking. It's red. Like I was sizing that motherfucker up, dude. I was like, yeah. And I saw it again like a couple nights ago, but it was later. Oh no, I saw it in the morning, so it was like all the way in the west. I was like, look at that asshole, dude, fucking me down. I was getting pissed on my way to work. I'm like, this dude's following me. I was getting pissed. I don't like that red star crap, dude. I don't think they should be red. I don't know.
All right, Steve, I'm going to get out of here. You have a good night.
You too. Thank you for coming. God bless. Have a great night.
Right. Thank you, guys. Bye.
All right, guys. That was a good show. I did want to show one more thing about that Profusa, but you know what? I'm just going to mirror the video. I'm sure you guys have seen it. It's Days of Noah. I'm going to put the link here in the chat. Right now. It's a very good video. Definitely check it out. It just breaks down what Profusa is really about, and the fact that Facebook independent fact checkers, whatever, you know, they said that was completely false. It's like, well, it's on 2 websites that are backed by the DoD, and Profusa itself is backed by the DoD, DARPA, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So you really got to just understand what all that means. And yeah, there's that right there. That's the link. Definitely click that out. Days of Noah's he's stand up man. He does some good research. But you know, while I still got a good amount of people here, I would like to ask for your guys' prayers. I don't really, you know, whether you're religious or not, spiritual, I'm just asking for good vibes, for prayers out. One of my really, really close friends, their cousin just got has been diagnosed with cancer, and it's not really looking too well. So I would just like to you know, have a moment of silence. You guys can have a moment of silence, but I'm just going to say a prayer and then we'll close this out. So, dear God, Heavenly Father, I pray to you through Jesus Christ, my one true Savior. I pray that my friend's cousin just, you know, if it's the time, let him pass. Very young. He's 22. Very young for someone of that age to go through that. But dear Heavenly Father, please give him strength and courage and wisdom. And if it is his time, please let him pass. Please let him pass with peace. Amen. So I appreciate that, Ceiling Fan. I appreciate that. And Ceiling Fan, you're the man, brother. You're the man. I really love you. You and Awaken, you guys literally get me through life. Not life in its entirety, but if I have like doubts or get a little down, everyone has moments like that. Everyone go check out Ceiling Fan, man. He's a stand-up guy. I'd like to we gotta do a collab, Ceiling Fan. No doubt. So I got your email. Shoot me an email, brother. Maybe we'll do something like we'll see what's going on maybe Sunday night or Monday in the see what's going on, because that's good stuff. I love Airborne too, or Awaken, whatever. Good guy. Mike, we'll call him Mike. Mike's a good guy. Definitely check his channel out. They do some good stuff. Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's crazy, dude. That's crazy. Any word. That's funny how that happened to you, and it happened to me earlier, because my friend told me about that, and I literally, like, seconds ago passed a sign that said F cancer. I was like, amen. I was like, I'm with it. And then I got that message. I'm like, oh boy. And she specifically asked to get some prayers out in the chat, from everyone. So I just hope that, we did enough to help his spirit, and all we can do is pray and, let what happens, because it's all in God's control. We did go through some things that were a little negative tonight, but there was a lot of positive things to take from it. The idea that freaking mountains are actually melted buildings, it's staggering. When I first lost my job, how many times I went out in the woods, went for a walk, just looking for, whatever. And we stumbled upon those arches. It's literally incredible. Whether it got wiped out from God above and he had enough of it, because this earthly plane is not supposed to be turned into a grid, and the psychopaths look like it did. Whether God did that or whether, it was just a dupe plan from all along from the man downstairs, I'll never know here, and I'm good on not knowing, but it's just a crazy, crazy door it opens, dude, because it's true, dude. It's true. In the mountains of Chester, Mass, dude, there's random 100-foot archways. Go back on my channel, check them out. It's nuts, dude. The quality's not there. It sucks. It doesn't suck, but it's not as good. I got a professional camera, but lugging that mother sucker around is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But all right, we're gonna get on out of here, guys. Still got 50 watching. I'm gonna go through the chat again. I appreciate all of you, all the prayers. I see all the comments there. Good stuff. I appreciate you guys so much. So we got Jago Isaiah. I think I said that right. Michael Sarastino, Joe Dirt. What's up? What's up? HB. Effective Collective. What's going on? Yeah, Days of No is good. I know, it's good stuff. Ann Geyer, what's up? Thanks for coming. Ceiling Fan is the man. Don't you guys forget that. Def Bread, what's up, brother? Any word? Aurora Dawn. Where are we here? The Real Truth. Yeah, that's about everyone. But yeah, guys, thanks for yeah, Jill. Looks like you're late. The rerun will be good. Bring it back 3 hours if you got 3 hours to burn. But it's about 9 o'clock here. It's still the 25th. It's January. What am I saying? It's September. I almost said October. So time has been just absolutely messing with me. And I don't know if it's messing with you guys, but I don't think time is what we thought it was this whole time, but it is what it is. I'm going to get on out of here. Much love to all y'all in the chat. Bobby, Jen, if you're still listening, God bless you guys. Thanks for coming. Everyone in the chat, God bless you. And if you view this after, God bless you. We're out of here.